because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring people, you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems? Bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You
God bless. You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this.
I'm not dictating.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war,
you're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards.
Playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
Yeah,
you're playing cards. You're playing cards. You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. It's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this
even
entire
today.
Meeting, you said thank
even
you.
Today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America.
But that's what I'm about to explain that.
Yes.
Yes, so many people do not know what I'm about to say, but I'm going to speak my own truth. And the Senate President is allowed to counter that. It all started on the 8th of December, 2023, which was a day before his birthday and my birthday. We are birthday mates. We were all in Akpabio because he had a big fanfare in the stadium. Myself, my husband, and a few of his close friends, we went to Akpabio. And at first, we were at Ekpene. We were in his house in Ekpene. Then we all moved to his house in Uyo, which was about 8 p.m. And he held my hand and said he wanted to show me around his house. My husband was walking behind us, just three of us. We're walking around from room to room. He showed me the beautiful interior. This was done by this, by that, this designer here, he bought this from us. Like, oh, it's beautiful. And then I noticed that he hastened his pace while still holding my hand. And my husband was behind, still on his phone, but he was catching up whenever he could. And then he got to this particular sitting room, and he said, "Do you like my house?" I said, "Of course, sir. Every room, beautiful, nice interior, quality taste." He said, "Now that you're a senator, I'm going to create a time for us to come spend quality moments here. You will enjoy it." At that point, I just pulled away and I was like, I don't really understand what exactly that meant. But then my husband now, when I turned around, I saw my husband was already near me. And the way my husband looked at me and looked at him, I was beginning to wonder, did he hear part of that inciting statements or not? And then the Senate President too, I saw that he also had that thought, like, did my husband hear the invitation to treat or not? So then the Senate President now said, "Oh, by the way, let me show you my chapel." He has a chapel in his house as well. So while we were going to the chapel, you know, we walked in silence and all. So that evening, before we left the Senate President's house at about 11 midnight to the 4 points in Ekpene. And my husband asked me, "Natasha, what did the Senate President whisper to you? What was he telling you?" I thought, should I tell him that he was speaking about bringing me in here at a special time for us to have a good time? Or should I just kill it there, wrap it as if there was nothing? Because tomorrow was a big day. I know how much my husband adores the Senate President.
Most of the economic policies are the right orthodox policies, okay? But the sequencing is wrong. The quality of the people implementing the reforms leaves much to be desired. And I think that some of the reforms are just wrong. You know, you don't target, you don't address food inflation by destroying domestic agriculture through importation, for instance. Food prices may be going down, but farmers are being impoverished because they are being made to compete with subsidized agricultural products from Europe and other countries. So I have issues with many of them, and I'm in touch with many senior officials of the administration, and I give them my opinion privately. But I don't want to go beyond that because, tomorrow they will say, oh, it's because he was not minister. Guys, I was minister to.
And I am ready to die defending Nigeria in whatever way. When it is God's time for us to go, it is
and you
not
took my time to talk. You are ready to defend Nigeria. I gave you my time.
No, I'm coming.
Alexi, hold on. You already started.
What I'm saying, defending Nigerians is this.
I gave him my time and he's using it to defend
No, sorry.
I hope that Nigeria wins. I'm never going to wish any president evil so that I can say I told you so. No, I won't wish them evil. I hope. You see, I'm not praying. There's no point. I can't pray for Nigeria to be fine. I only hope that Nigeria wins and Nigerians win. Because if you choose a dodgy doctor who has a dodgy record, who has, all sort of accusations leveled against him, to say this doctor, we think he's done this, or this doctor, this surgeon, yes, he's a senior surgeon, he's the most whatever surgeon, but there are a lot of accusations leveled against him. If you choose him to operate on you, and you tell me to pray for you that it doesn't kill you surgery, what's the point? I can't pray. You might make it, you might not make it. My prayer won't change anything. So I hope Nigeria and Nigerians win during Tinubu's 4 years. Thank you.
That's a good question. That's a great question. I don't know what is wrong with them all. I don't know what is wrong with them. Somebody is asking for where you do your course and you are sure you did your course there. I agree with you. But a lot of what we hear, because you didn't hear this direct from Tinubu, because lawyers are very funny. Sometimes lawyers will say, you must not say this. I mean, you know what is happening to Donald Trump right now? Donald Trump that guy is walking himself to jail. And he's coming down to say that, it was my lawyer who said it. It was your lawyer who said it. It was your lawyer who said that you should march people to the Capitol and stage a coup. People who stage coup in Nigeria, they never live to tell the story. That's what I tell them. They never live to tell the story. They are summarily tried within a short time and sent to jail or made to face the firing squad. That is the way it works. But it's only in America where somebody put a gun to your head and you say, all right, you are quoting the First Amendment right. What is First Amendment right? What is it? I don't understand. So I don't know why he's denying Atiku the chance to go there, because the news media, they tell a lot of lies, things that are not true. I knew this man went to Chicago State University. I knew that. I won't like
Dr. Wumi, yes. if you were aware of Tinubu when he was at University of Chicago.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on us the accusations whether he was actually distributing drugs and was a drug dealer in Chicago in those days? What do you know about this?
Okay, thank you, sir. I heard about it, that he was distributing drug, and I know a lot of people who distributed drug. Who was the girlfriend of?
But let's be more specific. So look, we've all heard that Tinubu was a big drug tycoon. We have all heard that. What kind of specifics? I mean, when you say you heard that from people, were your friends the ones who were buying from him? Did he tell them that he was selling? Like what can you tell us as as a distinguished man around that area at the time when Tinubu was there, what can you tell us that he was really up to?
Well, what I tell you, I don't know whether, in fact, the first time I saw drug, I thought it was in Lubon.
Don't forget, that state is now an oil producing state. So they now have derivation, if you are not aware. So if you want to speak for anybody, please do not defend a character like Yabelo. Please do not.
Okay, let me respond to him. One second.
Do not defend a character like Yabelo. Do not.
All right, thank you, Mohammed.
The people of that state.
Can I respond to him?
No.
Then go to hell. Rudolph, go to hell.
All right.
Rudolph, I've never seen this part of him before. My God.
Tinubu is a criminal, yes, of course, a categorical grade 1 criminal. The only person more criminal than Tinubu in Nigeria is probably Babangida. But he's a criminal, and is he fit for purpose? Absolutely not. Should Tinubu be the president of Nigeria? Categorical no. Is there a better option than him? That is subjective. So show me who he is.
All right, welcome to the show. My name is Rudolph Okonkwo. Thank you so much for joining us. It's March 1, 2025. It's a beautiful day here in New York City. I hope it's beautiful wherever in the world you're joining us. Thank you so much. We have a very packed show today. Just like every other weekend, Nigeria and the rest of the world is very active, and things are happening every day, every moment. So let's touch on some of the topics we are going to talk about today. The first one is what happened at the White House over the week. I think it was something that shocked so many people across the world, which was the encounter between the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, and Trump, with the vice president, Vance, there. We're going to talk about what it means now for Europe and the war in Ukraine, and how that will change the world as we know it. Also, in Nigeria, we have this running issue between Senator Natasha Akpabio and Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Natasha alleged sexual harassment. It came out as a result of that encounter we saw where the Senate President wouldn't let her speak in the Senate. So she went on Arise TV 2 days ago and accused the Senate President of sexual harassment. Now, we've seen so many developing stories, including a counter accusation, a lawsuit. Natasha sued the Senate President. The wife of the Senate President sued Natasha this, I think, yesterday. So it's a very fast-moving story. We are going to delve into that. Before that, we were thinking at the beginning of the week, we were thinking that the lead story will be El-Rufai and his issues with his party, the ruling party, and what happens next to him. So we're going to get to El-Rufai. He's been overshadowed by bigger events. For our Muslim viewers, we say it's Ramadan starting today, and we are going to talk about it, especially in the context of states in the northern part of Nigeria, Kebbi, Kano, Katsina, and Bauchi. They are closing their schools for 40 days, I think, 5 weeks throughout the period, the month of Holy Ramadan. What does that mean for students in that region? How are they going to compete with other students? And what is the practice in other parts of the world? We want to get to that and see if there's something we can learn from what goes on across the world. Again, thank you so much for joining us. There are so many issues to get to. I really want us to get to Bonabor and Sophia. I know sometimes we talk politics all the time, but there are a lot of things going on entertainment that I also want us to visit. In Anambra State, we had the news this week, I believe, where one of the candidates for governor, Valentine Ozigbo, moved away from Labour Party and joined the APC. So we will get to that and have a conversation around that. We're also trying to get him to come on 90 Minutes Africa to talk about his political moves, help us understand what's behind it. All right, enough from me. I will bring some of our people who are already in and we'll start a conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome, KJ. How are you today?
Good morning, sir. Good to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining. Kandu, welcome.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon and happy birthday. You must be turning like 40 or 41 today or something like that. I don't know.
No,
You're looking good.
16 or 17. I will check again my birth certificate. But thank you so much.
No problem. No problem.
Mr. James, thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
Yeah, I think I'm all right.
Oh, you can't be thinking you're all right. You're all right. I mean, you're here. You should be all right. How is it in Gambia?
Yeah, well, it's very cold at the moment, but not as cold as North America and Europe.
Okay, at least.
More cold here is summer over
there. Okay, very good. Very good. We have a lot to get to, so let's start. I want to just go through and see if there's anything big I'm missing. I mentioned Burna Boy and Sophia. I mentioned Akpabio and Natasha, Trump and Zelensky, Ozigbo, El-Rufai. What else? James, is there anything you are watching that I didn't touch on?
Not quite. You mentioned the important items.
Okay. All right. Kandu.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is there anything we missed?
I don't really follow all the politics in Nigeria. Who is sleeping with who is holding hands to go to the other room, but it's really disheartening when you see what's going on, in Ukraine, when you see what's going on with the two non-elders that should be driving their country into the future in is it Sudan or is it which one are they fighting? The two generals.
They're all fighting everywhere. Congo, Sudan, where else?
Yeah, it's just really disheartening that people that should be elders, that should be, striving to take their country to tomorrow, are just all over the place fighting. And these people forget that at the end of the day, they're gonna die. That's the aspect of it that I just don't understand. How people cannot understand that this whole thing is going to come to an end is really baffling to me. I don't understand the purpose of the power. You have the power for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever. And at the end of the day, you Bafuka, what is the legacy? What is the purpose of what is the purpose of you having been here? Why these people are incapable to learn? I don't care if you're one of the kings of Egypt. At the end of the day, they will mummify you or whatever, and you die. The only thing that anybody has is what you have done, what people get to say about you. That's all you got. So it's really disheartening. And then with the clowns at the White House, I guess I'll get to that whenever you call.
We get to that. That will be our first story.
Yeah.
Thank you for mentioning what's going on in Sudan, and I think you talked about Sudan and Congo. I read that in Sudan they are sending Obasanjo and Kenyatta of Kenya to go and handle that problem. So that will be interesting to see how they resolve the Congo crisis. KJ, is there anything that you are following that I didn't mention?
Oh no, you have everything covered. That I think because so much news is going on in Nigeria.
Yeah, sometimes we just mention it. We can't solve all the problems. We can discuss all of them in one show.
Yeah,
all right.
No, we'll go with what you have mentioned so far.
Okay. All right. So let's start with what happened here in America, in Washington, D.C. Let's watch it again for those who are joining us now.
In front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems? Bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
That.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that. Remember this.
I'm not dictating.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards.
Playing cards.
Right now, you don't.
Yeah,
you're playing cards. You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. It's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this
even
entire
today.
Meeting, you said thank
even
you.
Today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words.
All right. This is a car wreck. I don't know how else to describe what we saw. I don't think people who have covered the White House for many, many years, they've all said that they've never seen anything like this. For this to happen in the White House. I don't know what you guys think. I will come to you. I'll give everybody 3 minutes to weigh in on that and tell us what they think. Let me start with you, AJ.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Rudolph. Those who say they've never seen this kind of thing before is because they've never been given the preview to be inside the Oval Office when such a discussions are being held. But those who were in Biden White House can attest to the fact, and this is what Michael Rubio put across to one of the CNN reporters who said this kind of thing have not happened. He said, no, it has happened before. It happened during Biden's time. It's just that you guys didn't have the opportunity to be there, but they who were there witnessed it. And that at this point, Biden was shouting on the president of Ukraine. But let us analyze what has gone on. What has gone on is the fact that the president of America, or the guy, Zelensky, allowed this to play out in the media, which is totally wrong, according to, if you are looking for diplomacy. And now let's look at it as a picture person. His hand position in the first place shows that he's not ready to engage. Because when you come with your hand clustered, you are meaning that you are inward, you are holding to yourself. You are not interested in making, getting a headway. So basically by negotiation, that is a wrong position, posturing in a discussion that you're trying to get other people to buy in. Secondly, I don't know why Trump keep giving us the Illuminati sign. Maybe, his hand position was a bit funny, but anyway, people can say that's how he's always kept his hand. Now, the thing to be mindful of is what Trump said. It's kind of disrespectful for you to come and in the presence of the president of the United States begin to tell them what to do. You see, he had done this before in the past and got away with it. And so he wanted to try it again. He did it during when he had discussion with some members of the last administration. He even went to the Senate, to the Joint House, and told them what America should be doing. And they were clapping hands for him. So the baton has changed, and the people who are there are not ready to clap hands for you to tell them what to do. And the truth remains, I'm trying to help you out. The war that is being fought is fought many miles away from where I am. If America decides to close this door today, it's not going to affect them anyway. So when people are trying to help you so that your people can stop dying, you should be open to discussing. And you should know that you cannot discuss from a position of power, which is what he's trying to tell you. Because right now, you have lost that momentum you had. If not, this thing could not have been going on for 3 years. And let nobody deceive you. I'm not here to talk about the Western talking point. I'm here to say, looking at it as a journalist, what do I get away from it? It shouldn't have been allowed to go on, but it went on all the same. And know that it's not going to be an easy negotiation for whichever team that's going to try and do it. I much as I don't want to agree with the way Trump presented his issue, but I want to say what he's saying is mostly correct. You're not going to be calling somebody name when you want to go and negotiate with the person. You can't be calling him names, okay? This person holds one end of the stick. You are holding the other. If we have to come to the middle, we have to all discuss and let our heads cool and stop calling people names and deal with it, and let's get some peace. All we're interested in seeing that nobody continues to die in this war. That's the concern of everybody on earth. I don't know, but that's my concern. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, KJ. Let's go to James. James, you're next.
Yes, thank you. I haven't got much to say on this topic, but I just want in Europe, in Ukraine. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but your audio is not very good. Go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. I said I haven't got much to say on this topic, but however, I want African countries to learn a lot from what is happening in Ukraine. In this world we live in today, in fact, since the beginning of time, according to one British diplomat in the Congress of Vienna of 1815, after the defeat of Napoleon, the man said that every man to himself and God for us all. He cannot go to the United States and be dictating to them. They've deceived him into declaring a war or going into a war he can never win. He's looking up to the United States, and the United States is not finding it comfortable. So who is the loser at the end of the day? It's Ukraine. No matter what lured them into the war, they are the people suffering it, and they continue to suffer. So African countries should learn a lot of lessons from this. When they play, or when they connive with foreign powers against fellow African states, at the end of the day, when all the chips are down, no Western or any other country can come to your rescue when you find yourself in shit. This is what we should learn from what is going on. Anyway, that's just how I see it. African countries should learn from what is going on. Conniving with foreign powers against fellow African states will lead us nowhere. It is better for us to collaborate with each other and get what we want. A good example actually is Liberia. Liberia is America's foster child. That was their semi-colony, the only semi-colony they had in Africa. What have they done to improve the situation in Liberia? When war broke out in Liberia in 1980 or so, Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait. They packed all their troops in Monrovia down to Kuwait, and they left Liberians to slug out the issues among themselves. If not for Nigeria and other countries who went there to spill their blood, I do not know what would have happened. So African countries should learn a very good lesson from what has happened. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, James. Let's hear Kandu.
Yes, sir. I'm going to start with a Yoruba comedian called Benga Adeboye. In one of his many videos, he talked about people in the Nigerian Senate when they were fighting, and it was on video. He said, and I'm going to say it in English and Yoruba, then I'll try my best to translate it into English. He said, "Àwọn wèrè ọ̀rí ibi tí bridge tó ti ń ṣí kí ọkọ̀ omi kó kọjá, ọ̀rí gbogbo good àwọn nǹkan tó dáa tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ in other parts of the world." They are saying that, well, they fight in other places too. My best translation of that is that crazy people use crazy things as examples. They don't see good examples to point to that other people are doing. It is the fact that other people are fighting in other places that they use as example. I generally don't listen to congenital liars like Trump. But a number of people sent me this clip of his White House mess. And for anyone to think that this is the norm, yeah, people have disagreements, leaders have disagreement in the back room. They iron it out. This fool said this will be good for TV. That's your leader. That's the leader of the world. You see, those of us that said before the election that where were you people for 4 years when this guy was there? This guy is a disaster. He cannot help himself. He's a liar. That's what he does. Those of us that have known him for 30 years, we know what we're talking about. And it was really Zelensky's fault. He should have told that boy, vice president, that presidents are the ones talking. He will be spoken to later on. I mean, look, this fool. He said in that clip, you came over here and went and supported the opposition. These are the type of people you're dealing with. Is this about opposition or whether it's Trump or Biden or anybody else, or about America? And Zelensky, for those of you who have short-term memories, Zelensky has come to America, gone to the Senate, gone to different places in this country, thanking the American people for their support. I can't even remember how many times. But you see, when you deal with a Trump, it's all about him. You didn't come and thank me. You know, it's like a boy, a small boy. You take his feeding bottle away and he starts to pout. This is what you're dealing with. And like I've said many times, this will not end well. Get your popcorn and continue watching the show.
Thank you, Kendo. Chim, welcome.
Oh, sorry. Good morning. I didn't know it was my turn already because Paul and I didn't know I came before Paul, but that's fine. Good to see you again, Rudolph, and I wish you a happy birthday once again on air.
Thank you.
And Mr. James, just a little banter. What code exactly are you talking about? Please stop that code in Gambia. Which kind of code in Gambia? Oh, just a little banter. So it's difficult to defend Trump because, number one, the general rule is to castigate him. The general acceptable, the only way you will get accepted is to find something ill to say about him. So the ill I will say about him is that was not a good showing for him, for Vance, for Zelensky. It was not a good showing. But again, it depends on the lens on which you're using to watch it. If you're being emotional about it, then yes, you would respond in an emotional way. But if you are looking at it from the lens of foreign policy, then you would take a step back and then ask yourself, what foreign policy exactly is Donald Trump pushing? Donald Trump, before the election, said he wanted to end the war. He didn't want the war. Maybe he's a coward. He doesn't want to fight. I don't know. But he doesn't want to be sending American children into needless wars. He's used this, these are his words, needless wars. Wars he feels can be settled in other ways. So let's even say that his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who was in that meeting, let's say he's a military, let's say he's a war hawk. The man has bought into Trump's foreign policy stand, which is, I don't want to be involved in wars. So he has to push that agenda. Everybody, Vance was in the Senate, Dito was Rubio. These two people who were in that meeting were both senators before taking up their new roles. And either of them have supported whatever it is has been happening in Ukraine. But now they have taken a new stand, which means they are buying into the foreign policy perspective of Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump also, I mean, however you want to see it, is a showman. My belief is that this thing ought to, like Kandu said, they should have discussed it and quarreled behind and then come out to give the media whatever their final decisions were. But they didn't do that. They rather came straight up to discuss everything in the open, which led to this altercation, which the world says is shameful. But you see, I think what is happening is Donald Trump is want to be clear. I'm not going to be engaging in unnecessary wars with you people. I want to do business. Which is why America, over the period of time they were sending money to Ukraine, never asked for a payback or anything. But this guy is saying, I hear Europeans, I don't know how true that is. It's still subject to correction. Some people are saying it's not true. I hear Europeans have a guarantee to get some funds back when this is all done and dusted. America is not getting anything back. We need to get something back. Hence this new mineral deal they were trying to sign. I think for Zelensky, he needs to look for a way to end the war. Number one, his posturing is not right. It doesn't matter how, whatever argument you want to say, whether Donald Trump was being a child, not being very diplomatic, you already know who you're dealing with. This past week, these are three leaders visited Donald Trump. The French president, the British prime minister, and then Zelensky. Each of them had terrible things to say about Trump prior to those visits. But when it came to the proper visit, you saw that the meetings went right. And I will end with Sir Keir Starmer, the British Prime Minister. After every terrible thing he said, he went there inviting Trump for a state visit, which no other American president receives. You don't get 2 state visits if you have a 2-term. You get the first one if you want to visit the UK the next time is on a governmental level. But the King of England sent him a letter through Keir Starmer. And let me end by saying he was being peaceful with him because the UK is negotiating a deal somewhere in an island somewhere in Africa they don't want to keep. And they're seeking American assistance. So you can see that with all this argument about Britain being, US losing its leadership, it's not altogether through. I'm not supporting the mannerisms that were expressed there, but we need to also realize that this guy has a different policy stand he's pushing. You may not like it, but that is what exactly it is.
All right. Thank you, Chin. Paul. Next.
Yeah, thank you, and good morning. I really wish I can get a longer, much time, but let me try to micromanage my time. First of all, Trump and Zelensky, the issue. Zelensky traveled, you understand, for longer hours. He made almost 13 hours flight, come to that place. I hope some of us understand what it takes to go through all those jet lag and everything. He's already stressed, he's tired. Then when you look at the other side of it, you look at the VP, the nonsense is spilling out and everything because Americans have been shaming him. The first meeting that they hold, the cabinet meeting and everything, Elon Musk was talking. The VP only talked for 42 seconds. You understand? So they are using it to shame him. So he's just trying to make his voice heard. You can see the way he's putting words in Trump's mouth. You can't even say sorry. This is disrespectful to America. You understand? Just want to make Trump attack and everything. He just want to make his voice heard. Just like that young lawyer who just come from law school. You understand? Want to do anything. You understand? Just for them to know that, oh, there's somebody here. You understand? Who has seniority. But I will go straight. This nonsense negotiation that America is negotiating and everything, Zelensky is just doing what he's doing. If you look it on the flip side, you can see the way Macron talked to Trump. No, all the money we give to Ukraine, we are not taking it back. When Trump, he said it clearly, we are not taking it back. You understand? And when America was giving those money like grants. You understand? Not to get back. I live in America. When they give you grant and then for that thing, if you use it for the right purpose, you don't pay back. But Trump come and negotiate and change it that you're going to pay back. Then Trump again is even lying. You guys don't give these people 140 billion. You said 500 billion. Another way around, you say, oh, no, it's 340 billion. But you want to get 500 billion back. And then for that thing, okay, negotiation is going on. You want to take their minerals and then for that thing. What is the guarantee with security? You say, no, you are not giving them any guarantee with security. Or what you just want to do, Americans will come there and be taking these miles and these minerals and the likes. For the fact that Americans is there, then Russia won't do anything. Come on, that is the height of stupidity. Is that not what we are getting in Nigeria? When we put China in Benue, Kogi, Zamfara and every other thing, they just be taking all our team. Is that not what we get? Guess what? They don't really take the Chinese down, but guess what? We are losing all the minerals that we have in the north. That is stupid. No guarantee, no nothing. You just say if you put America there, then Russia won't launch. This is the height of stupidity. How do you think anybody will negotiate that kind of negotiation? Then, doctor, the one that even beat my heart, Elon Musk is working on Trump, using Trump tremendously. Remember these minerals that we're talking about is what Elon Musk needs. He's looking for cocaine to do his battery. These are the things that Elon Musk needs. I've lived in America for some time now. I understand very well. When America stole all those oil that they stole in the Middle East, did we, the Americans, benefit from it? No. It's this oligarchy, these big men that benefit from it. Americans did not benefit from it. So when you see Donald Trump again want to go back and go negotiate to take minerals, it is the big boy that will benefit. The average Americans will not benefit from those minerals. Then when you talk about 140 billion that Ukraine benefited from America, that you want to get in return with 500 billion, let me say something clearly. Lucky Americans don't even have weapons the way they structure themselves. Lockheed Martin is a private company, sell weapon. Boeing sell weapon. The so-called military contractors and the likes, they make a lot of money. Then when they sell weapon, then America pay. This money in turn go back to America. Yeah, good percentage it benefits Ukraine, but good percentage of this money end up benefit America, which means institutions in America benefit Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and the likes. Now, what kind of negotiation? And you think anybody with thick skin won't fight back a little bit? Come on. You understand? What the guy did, I think is the right thing. You understand? Because the next 20, 50 years from now, people will look and say, which man in his right sense will negotiate this kind of negotiation? Mostly, when they already level the guy that is a dictator, is just a comedian. Then they'll say, oh, you don't really know anything about politics. He's just a comedian. That's why he could negotiate and give their natural wealth, their mineral resources, and just give it to another country like that. You understand? The doctor, Donald Trump called him dictator and said Russia is doing the right thing. Donald Trump give all the handwriting that Russia is not doing anything wrong. How do you want to negotiate war? You are doing all deal with only Ukraine. You never talk to Russia. You now end up becoming the spokesperson of Russia. You understand? Russia is just enjoying and appreciating all he's doing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Paul. Comrade Omori, you're next.
Yeah, greetings to you, Dr. Rudolph. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My greetings to other panelists. I don't have much to say about Donald Trump. To whom much is given, they say much is expected. The fall of the yellow leaf, they say, is supposed to be a signal to the green one. For those that fail to learn for the 4 terrible years of Donald Trump, I think they will learn their lesson after these 4 years. It's going to be from one drama to another drama. I want to submit on this platform, like I said before, Trump will have been a better comedian than a president. You know, you could see 2 presidents talking. Who is that idiot by the wayside, by the side that was interjecting? And Trump was there looking at him as if Zelensky wasn't representing, does not have right to negotiate. If you come to the negotiating table, you don't have to take everything from Donald Trump, hook, line, and sinker, because he's the president of America. Who the hell does he think he is? We are dealing with a bully. We are dealing with a narcissist. We are dealing with a racist.
We are dealing with an idiot in the palace. He's a clown. For those that is supporting, one thing I've discovered about human beings, no matter if they decide to support somebody, no matter what he does, they don't see anything wrong in that person. So if they decide to go against that person, no matter what he does, it doesn't matter to them. That's one mentality I've discovered about humans. We are all gullible one way or the other. By the time this man is done with America, the strength of America, the greatest strength of America, does not come from the number of from the might of their military. It comes from the dealings with the allies they have all over the world. When America cough, the world will feel it. It's going to reduce the value of America before the world. It's going to bring America down. You don't run government the way you run your private business. It's not about how you feel as a person. It's not about your personal interest and your billionaire friend. I was reading this one book about this idiot. His relationship with Putin, it's not just today. It has been a long time. They have come a long way. They have a secret agenda. He's deceiving America by telling it's all about America. Somebody was there talking about foreign policy. He doesn't care about America. By now, if he does, I wanted to see Trump talking about universal health coverage for all Americans, taking those homeless Americans from the streets by building accommodation for everybody. If it's about America, it's about himself, his selfish interest, personal aggrandizement, and his billionaire friends. He does not mean well for anybody. Whoever that is being deceived that is about America, you are going to think twice. By the time this man is done with America, America will be reduced to nothing. Thank you, and God bless you.
All right, thank you, comrade. Okija, you're next.
Papu Doka, happy birthday. I didn't know, I forgot.
Thank you.
I hope they cook some rice for you today. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I watched the video yesterday, and what I want to, the prayer I have for everyone listening, I hope life doesn't bring you to a point, where you're gonna seek help from the accuser of your enemy. So I hope life doesn't bring you to that level. That's what happened yesterday. Trump, he made his choice clear, years ago. For some weeks now, so last week, or was it last week or last 2 weeks, he's been maligning Zelensky, saying all sort of horrible things, saying, distorting history, gaslighting everyone that, Ukraine, was the aggressor. Ukraine started the war and everything. And then, again, like before I get into that, when, I don't know what the optics would look like if maybe Kenya's president, visit Tinubu and they are talking, and Shetiba is there, like a dead dog, talking, opening his mouth. He's president talks to president, another president. You can't have vice president interjecting, he would just. Did you see how Pence, acted when he was, he was the good dog, the good 404. He would just sit there and listen. But this one came by and talking all, from he has transformed from something, he used to he knew Trump, but all of a sudden, because the narrative he wants to buy into Trump, because of power, he has transformed to become his good, liquor, everything, he's more, he's Trumpier than Trump actually, now. But the thing is that I don't know what you expect, from a man. I don't know if you have been in a situation where you are, people, your enemies, against you. People, you are Zelensky, whatever you think about it, even if he's young or whatever, he's the father of Ukraine right now. He's the one who tells in charge of security. He wants to make sure that people, eat. And then you see bombing every day, infrastructure being decimated, people are dying. He wakes up, he knows he has to send people to the front. He goes and he sees people who have been wounded, who have died. He consoles people. And then you bring him to this man and you expect him, to take, shit from this man. This man who dodged the draft, who doesn't know what it means to, be a war leader, who doesn't know what it means to be in a war. from the confine of his deception. He's the president of clueless people, and then he's detecting to a warrior, a war general, what's supposed to be happening in his country. You don't know. You have to understand where Zelensky was coming from. He wears the shoe. He knows where it pinches. He came with the anger of his people. So I don't know, anybody who sides with Trump or try to rationalize it or try to pepper it, that person is just just another Trump.
All right, thank you. Let me let's expand the conversation a little bit. I won't get everybody in, but we pick on a few people. KJ, you want to speak, but let me move it a little bit further. Direction across the world has been leaders in Europe. They basically came out and said they were in support of Zelensky. They're behind him. They felt that what happened shouldn't have happened. Now, nobody has said that this kind of things, they do not happen behind the scene, but not to put up camera, bring in the media and try to humiliate somebody who is already, he's been fighting for 3 years. So the leaders, apart from the guy from, I think, Poland, that was saying that he was with Trump, everybody kind of felt that that it wasn't the right thing to do. But the question I want to ask you, looking at it beyond the drama on TV, the Europeans are saying, European leaders are saying now that as a result of this, they feel that the free world has no leader, that someone has to come out and lead the free world, essentially saying that that Trump has basically given up the leadership of the free world and someone has to come up. And we know that the guy in Germany, the new guy that just won an election, I forgot his name, is saying that, okay, maybe Germany will lead again. And we know what happened the last time they did. Okay, so take it from there, KJ.
All right, Mr. Rudolph, thank you so much again for the opportunity. I want to draw attention to the fact that people can always make their point without being insulting. And if you are so pained that you cannot discuss without insulting the panelists or even the subject, I think you better excuse yourself. That's my personal advice. Now, let's take it from the last point you made. Is Germany able to lead the world? That's the truth. America is leading the world because America has the might, it has the money, and it's able to put it where he wants. So the mere fact that somebody comes to somebody comes to your house, and you're trying to you've gone to your community and you're trying to help your uncles, and the man comes to your house telling you, "This is what I want you to do." You walk him out of your house. You will not take it. You will tell him, okay, if I'm going to intervene in your situation, this is how I want to go about it. This is how I want to go about it. You either take it that way or you leave it. Because if you are able to solve that problem, you won't wait for me to come and begin to intervene. And that's what Trump is saying. Now, I'm not supporting his allowing this to be in the media space. But go back to the interview, because I watched it many times, and this is my second time of speaking about this on the social media. He gave J.D. Vance sought Trump's permission to speak. And even Zelensky sought permission to speak. But here is where the drama began. When he began to ask the question, what kind of diplomacy? You see, they are feeling that you shouldn't have even gone that route at all. And if you ask me, if I was Zelensky, since we have already discussed this before, in the closed doors, and we didn't come to an agreement, I didn't need to bring it up again. That's what people who have watched it, who are arguing from. Since these people did not get an agreement in the closed doors, why bring it to the media? Are you bringing it to the media so that you feel you force their hands? Okay, if that's what it were, it didn't work out that way. That's one. Two, I am not saying that because Trump went overboard, maybe because they are already annoyed and feeling why bringing this up again. But the truth remains, if I were him again, because it is my people. Ndị Igbo na-atụkwa n'elu si that achịgara na onye nwe ụlọ. You don't, when you finish cutting the shrub, you take it, you leave it in the house of the owner of the house. You don't carry it to your house. What we are saying now is, or what I'm trying to say in essence, but I provide that at the end of the day, this war is being fought in your backyard, not in the backyard of America. The people who are involved in the fighting are your people, not the Americans. The people who are going to, just like he said, that day, some people are going to die that day. Those who are going to die are not going to be Americans. So if you ask me as a responsible leader, the first thing I'm looking for is how to get through with it with less casualty or not going forward. Does any of us think that they will ever win Russia? Are you kidding me? If you are kidding me, go back to 5 years ago when Putin made a statement. If you ever think there's not going to be Russia in this world, then you better think again. That statement is there. You could go read about it. And I'm not here to promote anyone. I'm simply saying I stand with where we will have less casualties. My conclusion is this, Rudolph. Also, understanding English language played a lot of parts in what transpired. I think that if you go look at the ambassador of Ukraine during that discussion, her head was down all the while because she felt, look, this guy wasn't totally understanding the American slangs that was coming up, and he couldn't make a head and tail out of it. So that also contributed to how this argument.
KJ, how did you come to that conclusion? What a lot of people were reading. I saw the picture you were talking about. I don't have it. I will have shown it to people. What people thought was happening was that, of course, if you're an ambassador of a country like Ukraine, knowing that you are in a difficult situation and you see what was going on, you can be happy no matter what's going on. But it doesn't mean that is because of, I don't see any translation issue in terms of his reaction to what was being said to him. He sounded like someone who had a good grasp of English language.
No, I don't think so. Because if he had that good grasp of English language, when you say you don't have the cards, he wouldn't have said we're not playing cards.
No, that's a good answer. It doesn't mean he knew it wasn't cards that they were talking about. But I don't think he was thinking that they were playing cards. No. That's a good. That was wonderful. I actually like that.
I don't agree with that at all. It doesn't come in a serious discussion. Somebody's telling you, look, you don't have all the A's, and you're saying no, it's not about A's.
Yeah, it's not a game. That's my interpretation.
But anyway,
something big.
I don't want to argue that.
Let's not make it between us. Let me bring other people. But
okay, 1 minute. You asked me a question. I want to end with that.
Okay.
See, if the reason why people take interpreters to meetings because those people understand the culture and the terms being used. So you cannot tell me that as a Ukrainian leader who's been living in Ukraine, you understand all the English, the words that the American will speak. Even me living in America, there's certain words they speak that doesn't mean the same thing from where I'm coming from. So I think that he should have used that ambassador in interpreting whatever was going on. Thank you.
All right. On record, let me just say that Trump has been assessed and his English has been on the fifth grade level. So nobody should have any problem understanding what Trump is saying. Can do.
by the same media that assess everything about the Republicans, Abi.
Can do. Thank you, KJ. Can do. Let's look at it wider. In Europe, what will the other countries of the world, they are now reassessing their alliance with America. Whether it's something they can take to the bank, whether it's reliable, what are the implications in terms of the shift that people are going to make? KJ was saying that Germany cannot lead the world. That's not actually true, because if you're talking about building a nuclear weapon, if Germany decides today that they want to build 1,000 nuclear weapons, they can easily. So it's not about they have the technology, they have the money more than any other country in Europe if they want to lead the world. But the thing is that there will be new alliances, and that will change the structure of power. Sometimes when you are the one giving people things and you decide that I don't want to give anymore because you're angry, someone else might give people and you lose influence. People don't see it that way. Go ahead, Kate, can do.
Yeah, like you rightly said, I saw that picture as well. And what I saw was somebody saying, oh my God, this is a disaster. That's what I read from that. But you see, you probably have to go back to 1911 to really begin to understand why the Europeans have to support Ukraine. We've seen this movie before. You see, when Hitler was allowed to take Yugoslavia, they said, let's appease him, let him have Yugoslavia. thinking that it will end there. And before you knew it, he was almost trying to get across. He was sending bombers across the pond to bomb London. This is what people understand. You see, the people you're dealing with, they're not JJC. They didn't come from Africa yesterday to America or to UK. They've been in this. They lived this with Hitler. They understand history. They understand what maniacs are made of. Putin is a maniac. By any other clothing, by any other means, he's a maniac. And maniacs has to be put down. He's a wild dog. You're not going to talk sense into him. If anybody wants to go back, go and look at his speech. And I think it was in Munich in 2005, where he said the greatest disaster in the 20th century was the dissolution of USSR. And that was, Putin was friends with everybody. Everybody. All these European leaders, they were all friends back then until that speech. And everybody understood that what this guy wants to do is to put USSR back together. And that is why the Europeans are giving weapons, because they understand when he takes over Ukraine, he's going to want more. It's never enough. That is why not just because it's the right thing to do, but because they have a very clear understanding. People like this will never stop until you put them down. So that's why Europe have to support and continue to support Ukraine, because it's not going to end at Ukraine's border. It's going to, very soon, it's going to be talking about he wants to take Poland. So there is a dimension that Trump brings into all of these things. He has forced the hands of the European leaders to increase the percentage of their GDP that they spend on their own defense. And they will have to defend themselves. If Putin says that if you think that there will be no Russia, at least I understand what that means. The only way there won't be a Russia is let him release all 4,000 or 6,000 nuclear weapons that he has. America release the entire 4,000, and then there won't be anything else left. The entire war will be over. So if anybody wants to play this game, you cannot shakara anybody. Nobody is afraid of Putin. Yeah, Russia is a big country with a lot of mineral resources, but the Europeans, yeah, they might, America might be far away, but the reality is this: when it happens, if it happens, and Russia is fighting with the Europeans, it will affect you in America. It will affect you in Africa. Look at how the price of grain has gone up all over the world, because Ukraine cannot produce and supply what they've been producing and supplying for years. And this thing did not start yesterday. So those who don't understand the history behind this thing, go online, go and look at the videos. You will see this is why these people have to fight, and you have to put a mad dog like Putin down. You have to.
All right, thank you, Kando. Let's go to Chim. Chim, I want to hear your view at the international angle to this, because we talk about what's going on, how Americans are viewing this, but beyond America, the reaction in Europe, and what that also means for people in Africa.
Okay, Rudolph, thank you. So before I go any further, if we're going to be an echo chamber, then I can respectfully excuse myself. If we're not going to respect that we're having a conversation, you can disagree with me. The guys who spoke before me earlier, I disagree with them. I didn't call anybody an idiot. I didn't call anybody. So if we're not going to be decorous that way, then there's no point hearing from me, because it looks to me that we just want to all agree and align in one direction. And that doesn't make sense to me. I've said it clearly here that the behavior or mannerism exhibited at that meeting was wrong. That's not a diplomatic behavior. That's not how presidents conduct conversations. They hold their shouting bouts behind the scene, disagree, point fingers at each other, possibly maybe call each other idiots if that's what happens. But when they come out, the whole idea coming to the media is to come and project and tell what you have agreed. Sometimes, even when you have not even agreed, you will say, we've had a conversation. We have decided to keep having more conversations. We don't have a final decision. And then you end it there. But in this instance, for whatever sake, I don't know whether it was intentional, they decided to come and hold all the dirty leading conversations in the open. I'm not agreeing to that. However, that said, this person won an election with certain rhetorics. Let me align with the word everybody wants to hear. And those rhetorics included he was going to drain a swamp. Those rhetorics included he was going to end the war in Europe. There are people who are benefiting from this war in Europe. There are people who are benefiting from it, whether it is in Europe or in the American military establishment. There are people who are benefiting. They're selling their arms. This man says, I don't want to go about doing business in that way. I would rather end it. Let's do business and earn money in other ways. That is his own foreign policy. For those in Europe who are saying they can go it alone, good luck to them. See, for me personally, in all this madness, whether it is for Africa or for Ukraine and the world, I see opportunities. And what are those opportunities? If it means extricating all of ourselves away from the American stranglehold, good. Let everybody go and hold themselves. So I don't understand this whole concept that we must have one world leader that points a finger and says, this is the direction I want to go, and everybody follows them. Because that's what I'm hearing from you when you say Trump has deputed his responsibility as the leader of the free world. Leader of which free world? Is Congo part of this world? Is Somalia part of this world? Is Boko Haram happening in Nigeria? Is it part of this world? Because I do not see the leader of the free world, supposedly, whether it was leader of the free world under Obama, leader of the free world under Biden, leader of the free world under Trump, making any reapproachment to Africa to solve our problems. So which free world exactly are we talking about? But what I'm saying for me personally is this. The man says this is the kind of foreign policy he wants to play. You don't have to like it, and it's okay for you not to like it. What is not okay is for you to come here because I express my views and you call me an idiot. You say, oh, I'm a right-leaning person and all those kind of. So we should turn this platform into an echo chamber, like one man always says that this place is an echo chamber. I don't want to belong to an echo chamber. I want to come somewhere and hold conversations with people, disagree with you respectfully, and still sit down and drink beer with you if the opportunity calls for that. What I will not continue to do is to come here and be maligned because I don't agree with your talking points. That's not mature, please. I don't want to be doing that any longer.
All right, thank you, Chim. Let me just point out that I don't think you were called an idiot. If anybody called a panelist an idiot, I would have reacted. I think they were talking about the actors, the politicians, the newsmakers. And as far as
you didn't hear the word the person used, he said for some people to come here. He emphasized it. Maybe you didn't catch it.
Okay. What did he say? Say that. Repeat that. Let me hear you, please.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. I'm just letting you know because I was listening.
Okay. And then the other part is that I was not the one that said he was the leader of the free world. Typically, any American president is called the leader of the free world. That has been the same for over 67
years. I agree with you, Rudolph.
So I'm not the one that said it.
I agree with you. I know what I'm saying is, in all of this whole thing, we cannot continue to follow one leader of the free world who is only free world leader when it concerns Europe. But when it concerns Africa, he's not leader of the free world. This whole war in Ukraine is because they are all white people and Europeans. For these black people who are here telling us things, I'm serious. If Ukraine was Africa, like Mr. James rightly said, when Liberia was happening, where was the leader of the free world? Was not our bloodshed and our money, our oil money that was spent in Liberia? So we should continue. Oh, Nigeria should have continued fighting that war in Liberia and not look for a way to end it.
All right, thank you, Chim. We could continue this conversation along that line because Trump was asked recently about what was going on in Congo and in Sudan. He basically said he's not interested in that. You know,
Biden didn't. So don't put on Trump. Even Biden didn't.
Yeah. All right, there are some new people who joined us who want to hear their voices. Let me bring in, I think the first person that came in, if I missed you, I think it was Man of Prestige. Man of Prestige, welcome.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, greeting everybody. It's nice to be on the platform, you know. I just came in, so it would have been very interesting to hear what KJ and Tim going to say, you know, because they are my adversary when it comes to American politics. You know, my brother's adversary. We are not enemy, but advance work. So having said that, I don't know what they said, but if I have to guess, they will be in support of what just transpired yesterday. So that's my guess. But having said that, what actually happened was like lunch that was never served. That's what actually transpired, in the Oval Office, because this conference was supposed to be at the backstage, and the chef and everybody was busy cooking, hoping that they're going to serve both of them lunch, but apparently that didn't happen. Let me say this. I don't know what other people have said. People are just misunderstanding what actually happened here. Trump came there to berate that man, because when he came to the table, he has already agreed for certain mineral, 50%. I don't know what mineral, they negotiated. He already agreed to that. So it's not about the mineral or whatever. The main, confrontation that actually escalated the whole thing was about Zelensky specifically telling Trump that for me to sign this deal, Putin has to sign. You need a signature, but Trump refused. That's the main thing that escalated the whole thing. And you have what's his name, the vice president. They are lecturing Zelensky. People are just thinking about it was all about the agreement or no, that's not that. But Zelensky was willing to sign the agreement, giving portion of their mineral to USA. I mean, this is a country that has been ravaged, before, and you want their mineral. But the man was willing to do that. Because the people's life at stake is more than just the mineral. And you expect Zelensky to, to have faith in Putin. Putin that doesn't abide to any kind of agreement. Going back to Obama time, there was an agreement. Going back to Trump, when Trump was in office 4 years, there was an agreement. Biden, there was an agreement, but this guy, Putin doesn't keep the agreement. So that's the bonus. That's why Zelensky was talking. He needs a paper agreement for him to sign. But Trump refused. Trump said he believed in Putin. You're going to trust Putin or not signing, at least signing in the paper. Signing in the paper is not a guarantee. And he's not going to go back, in order to try to fight Ukraine or, take some of their land that he had already been doing. So everything that happened, that there was like a story. I've never seen that, I've never seen that in my lifetime, in any two diplomatic, country. I mean, Ukraine is an independent country. So do you all expect him to just come there and let, Trump and the vice president lecture him and he don't have to respond? I don't say anything that he did wrong, in my own opinion. But Trump, being what he is, he's a transactional person. He wants everything to be in the camera. Like I said, that conference wasn't supposed to be in the camera for that long. But Trump wants his MAGA people to see when they sign the agreement. That's the main thing. They want to see when they sign the agreement, the Ukraine will agree, say, we're going to steal our mineral to you, and Russia doesn't have to come to the table. Because everything that was actually happening, Trump was speaking for Russia, on behalf of Russia. So it was never like three-way negotiations. It was between United States speaking on behalf of Russia, while Ukraine is there. What do you expect the man to say? I mean, he's a sovereign nation, a leader of a sovereign nation. You just expect him to stay there and you berate him and everything. I don't see what you think that was wrong. The man is standing for his country, regardless of what happened. People may have different views that, he's supposed to get security, whatever Trump said. You can't do that. That's not how a sovereign nation does, So in my conclusion, it's something that needs to be documented in the history, because I've never seen it happen in any kind of, foreign leader coming to the table to negotiate in that way. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, man of prestige. Let's go to Bibire. Sorry. Bibire, welcome. Can you hear me? Bibi, can you hear me?
Hi, thank you for having me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, there's a delay. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yes, like I said last week, we're watching the declining of America as it is. And I still find it very appalling that people don't understand, the end game to all of this, how this is playing out. We know that Putin is never going to stop at Ukraine. He's not. That's not his end game. He wants more. And Donald Trump is gonna keep doing Putin's biddings. It's is not his alignment is with Putin. No matter what that man has, come to the White House to discuss, he knows what he's doing. Donald Trump knows what he's doing. If you check out, he said, "Oh, European Union was not never meant to support America anyway, so they are just for themselves." Trump said that. So if you are in power and your diplomacy would be for you to dismantle or to fight with all of the people that are your so-called allies, and the next thing is for you to align with Russia or whatever. I just don't know. Think people don't know. They don't have understanding of what is going on. This politics that is playing out in America. It's more than what you think. It's more than MAGA. It's more than Trump himself. I know there's nothing you can say about Trump for people that support him, and those are not the people that for me, on a normal day, I don't like to relate with them because yes, they elude all logic. So, but it's okay. We can have different political view. I'm not a political person, but I deal with the fact. So I would say that is not for Zelensky. Whatever Zelensky has come to the United States to do, Trump knows what he wanted out of Zelensky, and he wanted that show. He wanted to embarrass him. Can you imagine somebody ask him while in that meeting in Oval Office and said, "Oh, Zelensky, you don't wear suits." For someone that is in a war, and that's the kind of question they wanted to bring up. You don't wear suit. Why don't you wear suit? Because you're in the most important office in America, or you don't wear suit. And people just think this is just all about Ukraine. Russia is not going to stop. Russia knows what they want, and Trump is beholden to Russia is a fact. And America is in psychological warfare. So whether we like it or not, this is a new era. This is a new game. The game has changed. And so people should just follow the game. So it's not about Republican or Democrat or whatever it is. I am an independent. So it's all about Democrats, but this is a new era. This change has come. And that change is going to touch everybody. In Nigeria, they will say, and we reach everybody. So yeah, we will all hear it. But let us keep supporting whoever we are supporting. That is not my problem. But Zelensky, and I will say this, Dr. Damiji, sorry, you would think that people that are in minority, that are fighting for their liberation, for their freedom, would understand someone else that is fighting for the same cause, similar to theirs, would understand and try to, get it, instead of telling Zelensky to give up and just do the war. There's never going to be a negotiation. Putin don't want Ukraine to join NATO, and one of the main things that would prevent Ukraine from joining NATO would be if there's war, if their borders are not secured, they're never going to be allowed to join NATO. So Putin knows that the proposition he's making is never going to be accepted. And you don't want to, that will continue, then that will prevent Ukraine from joining NATO. So, but for Trump, forget it. America is a gunner. So
all right.
They're gone.
All right. Thank you, Bibi. Let's hear from Ike in San Antonio before we move to a different topic. Ike.
Dr. Damages, this is the I haven't been here in a long time. It's nice seeing you all.
Yes.
We the Itoba in Nobi. So we just eat Ubo over there and take some cashew. Anyway, I don't think, if anybody think that this is surprise that this is happening, that person is lying to himself. I remember when we were talking about campaign, I wish Kene was here, because Kene said that avocado oil it went from $4 to $15. Because if he's here, because actually I came in today to make sure that he's here so that I can tell him how much egg is today in America. But for Zelensky, he think that he humiliated Zelensky. He totally humiliated all of us that are Americans. He humiliated all of us. He didn't humiliate Zelensky. Rather, this is what out of 335 million people, this is what we have. And all of us in Nigeria, this is Sheikh Banza. All of us gonna get a Kakinobi leather. All of us. And I'm here for long run. The only thing I would tell people, if you invest in certain stock, go and take your money away because it's gonna crash some of it. And some of it will be beneficial. Just go and buy Tesla, buy some of the stocks that he like. If you have Nvidia, that one is gonna crash by the end of next week, complete. So it's just sad. I wanted to order something in China. What they told me in November for $20,000 now is $32,000 because of the theft that he put in. And anybody thinking that America care about Africa, no, they don't care about Africa, but they take all our stuff to make themselves what they are. So I don't have much to say. We're gonna be here. All of us will be seeing it. Whether you vote or you no vote, we're all gonna see it. And it's gonna affect each of every one of us. I don't know another country to run to, but so we're gonna stay here. That's just all I want to say on this.
All right, Ike, thank you. You can go to Canada if you want to. It's safer. Oti,
I don't know about that.
Oti, welcome to the show. We'll give you the last word on this topic.
Yes, thank you. Good to have the last word on this. I'm not an American. I am gonna be straight up. I don't live in America. I don't really care about American politics except to the extent that affects what it affects what happens in the world. So what this thing about they were talking about Putin is not gonna stop. Putin has this game. How many people really have spoken to Putin or can read his mind to know what he wants? Now, Russia is a great country, okay, whether you like it or not. And if you were a Russian president or a Russian citizen, you would want Ukraine to be part of NATO. Is that what we think a reasonable country would stomach? And then all this talk about supporting. Well, of course, I do understand the Ukrainians. They have to really fight for their independence, for their sovereignty. No, but this Russia they're fighting is just their neighbor there, and the Europeans themselves, they are in this small hemisphere. Does it not make sense for them to really find a way to live in harmony with Russia and make peace? Now, because they rely on the power of America to this NATO thing. It's a good thing that Russia. I'm quite happy that the whole system, the whole international order is broken. I mean, we just need. We don't need this business of NATO and war mongering and all this. The system should really. We need a change in the world, in the global system. It's not who is it helping, right? And as I listened to Chim, he was talking about we talk about in the leader of the free world. Which free world? And who is leading? What are we talking about? Let the American system collapse. Let the European or this NATO. Why do we need NATO? Okay, and then somebody all this thing about we don't know what Russia is going to do. It's not going to stop. Who told you? How do you know that? We just listen to the all this media, mainstream media, all these the talking points. We can't think beyond that. It does not make sense to Ukraine, Zelensky, to live in peace with their neighbor. It makes sense. Whatever they have to. They're neighbors. I mean, brothers. What are they doing? Fighting their neighbors because they're supported by NATO. It's stupid. It's a stupid thing to do. It doesn't make sense anyway. Are they going to defeat Russia? Come on. It's just let's be realistic. What are we talking about? It's just it doesn't make sense. Nobody has read the, and then you think the Russians, you want to humiliate them? You want to accept them, that you expect them to accept that? Come on. I mean, all the wars in Europe, which one has Russia caused? The first and second wars, So what are we talking about? Which country has Russia invaded? Okay, he has, okay, but this is their politics. They have their regions, okay. This is the kind of more like a regional, local politics. All these small countries have to learn to live with Russia, okay. So they can't just look up to America and then believe that America is going to come to their head, and then they'll be poking their finger in Russian eyes. It doesn't make sense. That's the way I look at it.
All right, thank you.
Before you move away, can I just say one thing, please? I'm not going to take the length of time. I thank you, Oti, very much for that assumption, because people don't read. I have asked people, how many wars has Russia caused? They don't know it. They keep telling us, oh, Ukraine. Before now, which war did Russia cause? None. And then secondly, people come here and talk about world history. Did you guys know that the claim that US stopped the war, the Second War, is not actually correct? The guys who came and stopped that Second War was actually the old Soviet Union. If they had not stepped into that war, Britain would have been overrun. People don't seem to understand this. Like I keep saying, hold your views, but be intellectually sound enough to go and read up things. I know everybody hates Trump. Yes, he's a demon. I'm not going to argue about that. He's a demon. But he wants to stop a war. Let's stop the war. And Russia did not invade Ukraine because they just felt they didn't invade Latvia. They didn't invade all the other smaller nations that saw around them that were part and parcel of it. It was Ukraine. Why did they do that? Is this whole NATO thing, this whole with the Western world pushing Ukraine to come and join NATO? That's what threatened it, and that's why they did it.
All right, Tim, thank you. I just want to point out that as a result of this war, Finland and Sweden joined NATO. These are neighbors to Russia. So I don't know if it means that they have lost the purpose of going to war in Ukraine, which was to stop Ukraine, like some people say, to stop Ukraine from joining NATO. At the end, Finland, their neighbor, Sweden, their neighbor, joined NATO. All right.
Okay. So
We're
if you
going to
don't
move on.
mind, let me just add one thing, please don't be offended. But you also forget that before the falling, before USSR was packed up, was whatever, they agreed to the end of NATO. That was the reason why Gorbachev went to accept that Russia, that is USSR, will be ended. And at the end of it, they didn't keep to their own side, and they've continued to expand NATO. So let's not jump into it now and say, just like Tim said, and say, well, go back to when it started. What was the really reason why this all this thing played out to this point? There's more to read. And for those who are thinking that we're just you go check the history of what led to whatever where we are now. A majority of that part, majority of Ukrainians speak Russia. They are ethnics. They are ethnic Russians. So it's not like they are like brothers fighting one another, and somebody is trying to help people stop it, and you are saying no. Anyway, sorry to take your time, sir.
All right, thank you. Okay,
Dr. Damages, just 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Chim has said, how many wars have Russia caused? War is not only accompanied by booming of the gun. How many people have died due to Russia's ideology and politics?
How about Western ideology?
All right, thank you.
Western capitalism. How many people have died?
I responded to his Russia. So I responded to his Russia. If we want to talk about West, we'll talk about West. But I responded to his Russia.
Western imperialism.
So let's leave it.
No, you can't create disinformation.
Can I
all right, guys. Hold on. Everybody.
Dr. Damages.
Yeah.
I need my own 30 seconds, though.
I know. I'll give
Rudolph.
you. Yeah.
So Okija said that
in Egypt and now in Russia, we've seen you make strong statements, issue warnings that have been ignored. Are you concerned that America's influence in the world, your influence in the world, is on the decline? And in the light of recent developments, do you think Mitt Romney had a point when he said that Russia is America's biggest geopolitical foe? If not Russia, who?
With respect to the situation in Ukraine, we have not gone to war with Russia. I think there's a significant precedent to that in the past. That does not mean that Russia's not isolated. In fact, Russia's far more isolated in this instance than it was 5 years ago with respect to Georgia, and more isolated than it was certainly during most of the 20th century when it was part of the Soviet Union. The point is that there are always going to be bad things that happen around the world. With respect to Mr. Romney's assertion that Russia is our number one geopolitical foe, the truth of the matter is that America's got a whole lot of challenges. Russia is a regional power that is threatening some of its immediate neighbors, not out of strength, but out of weakness. Ukraine has been a country in which Russia had enormous influence for decades, since the breakup of the Soviet Union. We have considerable influence on our neighbors. We generally don't need to invade them in order to have a strong cooperative relationship with them. The fact that Russia felt compelled to go in militarily and lay bare these violations of international law
Chukuna malugo yo biadiocha Agaranya chogo kowe bili Agaranya chogo kowe rienio Owe chuku bezie chuku Nuche chukwa busigi fegemeo Nuche chukwa busia ifegemeo Nifo solo ne asi alibazie Oboye bebe agaranya muliba Oboye wuru agaranya mebi vesolea Mano agaranya mua Oboye afyozie nipakwa Agaranya chogo kowe bili Agaranya chogo kowe rienio Oboye chikubezio lisa Kodili ma kodili bemo Kodili wakema kodili manima Naino kwane we beluge beluo Kodili ma kodili bemo Kodili kemo kodili heyo Ibedwe me wanem Nikadie zibo himo
All right, welcome back, everybody. Before we go to the next story, I'll give you 1 minute. You wanted to say something.
Doctor, you still need to give me and Mr. James also now. Okay. Me and Mr. James too now. You didn't give both of us too.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Can do.
Okay, first of all, we can always go back as far back as we want to. We can go back to biblical times if you want. The reality is the Nazis had already taken over Leningrad. They were on the verge of taking Moscow. It was the Americans that came to the aid of the Russians and the snow, because the German army they were not prepared for the type of snow that they saw after they had taken over Leningrad. So we can always go back to this history. And anybody that wants to know, Mr. Putin went and took Crimea. We were all here when he assembled all of his tanks against Crimea. We were watching it on live TV. And then he went to Georgia. And that is why people that have half a sense understand that if you let him take Ukraine, it will be another country, another small country. And like Dr. Damages rightly said, that is why Sweden and which other one? Finland were quickly brought into NATO. So these people are not fools. They understand history. You don't let a mad dog get away with something. If you let him get away with it, he will continue. That's what they do. Thank you, sir.
All right, Paul, 1 minute.
Okay, Doctor, so when we talk these things and every other thing, 1991, when Ukraine got their independence, 2 major agreements that they signed, they released their nuclear weapon and promised not to join NATO. Countries of the world, slowly from Western Europe, they started moving all the way down to Eastern Europe. Every one of them, they are turning around Russia and every other thing. I hope people understand Russia is the biggest country in the world. Everybody, your enemy is turning around Russia. America's greatest enemy around American territory is Cuba. Just because of Russia tried to make a relationship with Cuba, America felt threatened, and America punished Cuba for it. But you are doing the same thing to Russia, and people don't want Russia to do anything. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Putin don't really have anything to do with this thing, but it's the NATO thing. They are turning you around. And remember the Article 5, injury for one is injury for all. You understand? If not for nuclear weapon that to Russia will just end what is called mankind. You understand? Russia would have gone under. Only America have sanctioned Russia 23,926 sanctions. 23,000 going to 24,000 only, and every other thing. But they are still surviving. Now we are talking about military might and every other thing. What do you expect them to do? It's to also test their power. It's also try their power. And every other thing. So let's tell ourselves the truth. It's been like that. And people should understand when Joe Biden, Trump talk about other NATO countries don't pay their fair share. Guess what? America today and American technology. What America benefits from American technology today is only weapon or weapon of mass destruction. So if America pushed NATO to put all this money down, 70% of the money that everybody contribute still goes back to America. So if America will quick to say, oh, we pay our fair share, guess what? When everybody contribute the money and they use it to better American economy, why don't you think Trump will push in that direction? That's why Macron is saying, no, Europe, it's time for us to also produce weapons. So that when we contribute this money, if we want to use this money to buy a weapon to protect ourselves, the money will come back to us. People should understand this thing. So let's not to blame Russia. Russia have to do what they have to do. You understand? You can't continue like that. The sanctions, everything is there. Russia mind their business. They don't interfere in other people's politics. They don't do nothing. You understand? But when people keep pushing, our African now, they say when you push a goat to the wall, the goat come back and fight back. They go see you and run away. You understand? But when you push a goat to the wall, they come back and fight. So when they keep doing all these things, now look at all the Eastern Europe are joining NATO. What do you expect Russia to do? You understand? And when Zelensky said what he said yesterday, when people are talking, people fail to understand that even Russia have a common boundary with the United States. Yeah, around Alaska, right there. You understand? So it can even get to that extent. You understand? In as much as these two great world power, they don't want to do anything, but you can't continue. It will push them to an extent where sometime they might want to think in this direction. But we don't really want it. We just want peace in mankind. Israel, UK and France fought war for 100 years. They understand what is called war. Why are they still thinking in this direction? What is the essence of this joining all this nonsense thing called NATO? Why are they doing this thing? They just like war. I don't know what is wrong with white people and Arab. With this fight. I don't know what is wrong. See the way black man will wear good clothes, we'll enjoy ourselves, we'll marry so many wives, we'll make ourselves happy. They just cause problem all around us. You understand? Look at all other African countries. There's no war, there's no nothing. People don't care to be multi-billionaire. People just care to wear good clothes and go to one meeting and come back and marry another wife. You understand? And just enjoy our best life. If not all these problems that they are bringing to mankind. and everything. When they cost, see, let me tell you what people don't understand with the American strategy. Look how many times IMF, World Bank, America have bailed Pakistan. In what ground? Why are they bailing Pakistan? To contain Indian, because there's a new star coming up. Look the kind of thing that they're doing with South Korea. You understand? One corner to also contain North Korea, and also a leverage with with Japan again to also contain China. You understand? People should understand all this. This guy like to find trouble. They use the mainstream media. They put this talking drum, talking talk. We all talk in that direction. Stay in your own lane. Why put military base everywhere? But Russia want to put one in Cuba. You said no. But you go around the world. When did they do this election that make you world leader? When did you make yourself world leader? Let us leave us alone. Let us enjoy the African America here in America. They make their little money. They enjoy their best life. Put all type of regulations and everything. Just let us live and let's live. So we can't continue to say, oh, one person is this, another person is that. Why are you going to Eastern Europe? Why are you putting all these things? You are turning these people around. Ukraine, Poland, Finland, every one of them. You are bringing NATO all around them, and you say they shouldn't do anything. My brother, let us wake up now. My Southeast people will cry for ordinary police all around the Southeast. You understand? It's not the same thing they're doing to Russia, and people don't want Russia to fight back. You understand? If you just go and go sleep and do Jerry Eze, what God cannot do does not exist. Is that what you want from Russia, to say what God cannot do does not exist? You don't want them to fight back? You understand? So Ukraine happened to be the guinea pig.
Much time.
You understand? That's how it is.
Thank you, Paul. Before James, let me just announce that we have interesting guests coming up on 90 Minutes Africa in the next few weeks. We have Philip F. Young is coming, the son of General F. Young, who ended the Biafran War. He's going to join us most likely next week. We narrow it down. We have a veteran journalist who is Azubike Ishedekwe. How do you pronounce the last name, Paul? Remind me.
Azubike Ishiekwene.
Ishiekwene, yeah. He's joining us. Most of you know him at The Punch. Currently, I think he's with Leadership Newspaper. He will join us next week, either Saturday or Sunday. And of course, tomorrow on 90 Minutes Africa, we are going to have Omoye's Corner, who most of you may not know is a lawyer and the host of Omoye's Corner. She's going to join us, and we're going to talk about the plight of African women in the workplace. We're going to use the case of Senator Natasha Akpabio and Senate President Godswill Akpabio to have that conversation. So if you can join us tomorrow, please do. We will touch on that topic. We're trying to get Natasha to come, but there were so many lawsuits now in place, so she can't even come on the show. But we will talk on that, which is our next topic. But before then, we want James to give us his view on this Trump and Zelensky and what is there for Africa.
Well, I don't have much to say about that. I just want to remind Paul that it is not true that what God cannot do does not exist. Hebrew chapter 6, verse 18 says it is impossible for God to lie. So there's something that exists that God cannot do, and that is a lie. Okay, so that's that. Thank you.
Thank you, James.
All right, can I get 30 seconds?
Oh, again? I thought you
spoke. I requested for 30 seconds, please.
All right, 30 seconds.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to make a point, because we have a lot of Africans here, clamoring, talking about Third World War. How many people Ukraine? I mean, how many people has lost their life between Ukraine and Russia? We are forgetting about Africa, where we come from. As of January, about 7,000 people has died in this Congo conflict, and nobody's actually talking about it. And if you go back to 10 to 15 years, a decade or more, the highest number of deaths has recorded in this Congo conflict. It's 4.5 million people that has died in about 15 years. So is that not that is that not the Third World War people are talking about? Go and record it. There's never been a amount of people that has died in Congo as of today, 15 years going back. I mean, we're not even concerned. We're only concerned about what Trump is doing. We know who Trump is. It's all about his own interest. I mean, I'm not quarreling about him trying to get something for America. There's nothing wrong about that. But sometimes he went overboard and something like that. The way he go about his things is all right. Let me tell you what happened. People are talking about Elon Musk. The consequence of Elon Musk donating, 300 million. Now, Elon Musk is gonna, I think what's his name? Paul is here. Paul can talk more about aviation. There's a news that's coming out, that Elon Musk is going to use his SpaceX, as what is going to control the American airline instead of Verizon. So they are trying to ditch Verizon, but Elon Musk is there and it's going to happen. So it's all about transaction. Elon Musk gives, 300 million. And, he has to pay him back. So that's what I have to say about that.
All right. Thank you, man of prestige.
Man of prestige, you are 100% right about that. Taking the other people and want to put yourself. How do you regulate yourself? You're right.
All right. Thank you. Janaba, I know you won't let me go to sleep today if I don't let you speak. Go ahead. 2 minutes.
Well, good afternoon from here, fellow panelists, and nice to be here with you again. Of course, minority is not allowed here by people and yourself, but it's all right. You managed to have a conscience today. So Fulani man will still come here, Doma man will still come. So thank you. I think all of you have your view on the issue of Trump and the global Ukraine and all of that. Everybody's view is based on the history at different time. I don't want to stress so much about that again. Yeah, it's going to be a long walk of 4 years. Everybody should fasten their bed and see what happened. Whatever come out of it, we will see. To my brother Paul, that is saying that we don't like trouble and all of that. Life is about power. So the fact that we don't want, and there are a lot of civil war and all kind of war happen within African space. We are not just bold enough to confront anything, and we don't even have what it takes if we are told to fight anything. So there is no even reason to say we want peace. We have no choice. So it's not like we have a choice to fight anything. Trust me, if there is a choice, we will do it. We don't have anything to even confront our neighbor, even outside Africa, within apart from the civil war in Africa and any other African country invading African countries. So the struggle for who lead the world will continue. So that's how life works. So it's not like it's a credit to Black people not to have a say, it's just because they cannot. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. We will now move on to a different topic.
December 2023, which was a day before his birthday and my birthday. We are birthday mates. We were all in Akpabio because he had a big fanfare in the stadium. Myself, my husband, and a few of his close friends, we went to Akpabio. And at first, we were at Ikot-Ekpene. We were in his house in Ikot-Ekpene. Then we all moved to his house in Uyo, which was about 8 p.m. And he held my hand and said he wanted to show me around his house. My husband was walking behind us, just 3 of us. We're walking around from room to room. He showed me the beautiful interior. This was done by this, by that, this designer here, he bought this from us. Like, oh, it's beautiful. And then I noticed that he hastened his pace while still holding my hand. And my husband was behind, still on his phone, but he was catching up whenever he could. And then he got to this particular sitting room, and he said, "Do you like my house?" I said, "Of course, sir. Every room, beautiful, nice interior, quality taste." He said, "Now that you're a senator, I'm going to create a time for us to come spend quality moments here. You will enjoy it." At that point, I just pulled away, and I was like, I don't really understand what exactly that meant. But then my husband now, when I turned around, I saw my husband was already near me, and the way my husband looked at me and looked at him, I was beginning to wonder, did he hear part of that inciting statements or not? And then the Senate president too, I saw that he also had that thought, like, did my husband hear the invitation to treat or not? So then the Senate president now said, "Oh, by the way, let me show you my chapel." He has a chapel in his house as well. So while we were going to the chapel, we walked in silence and all. So that evening, before we left the Senate president's house at about 11 midnight to the 4 Points in Ikote. And my husband asked me, "Natasha, what did the Senate president whisper to you? What was he telling you?" I thought, should I tell him that he was speaking about bringing me in here at a special time for us to have a good time? Or should I just kill it there, wrap it as if there was nothing? Because tomorrow was a big day. I know how much my husband adores the Senate president. He loves him as a brother. My husband would do anything to support him. So I told my husband, nothing. I can't remember what I created, but I just gave him some words to manage, to mask what was said. When we laid in bed, I looked to my right, and my husband wrapped his arms around me, and he said, "My love, you can't tell me anything." "What did the Senate president tell you?" Again, I was like, "Don't you believe me?" I said, "Nothing. Nothing. Moreover, it's my birthday in a few minutes. Let's just be happy." Then my husband told me he doesn't want to see me travel out of the country alone, and I should not go to the Senate president's house because he has a guest house where many senators do go there, after office to get approvals and all that. So I told him, okay, no problems. That was it. I thought that was going to be the end. But then, in February, I wanted to move a motion. I wanted to move a motion for the investigation on the ills of a corrupt practice in Ajakuta Steel Company. I listed that motion 5 times. It was the 6th time that it was listed on the order paper that was approved. Many senators can testify to that. Each time the motion is listed, just before he takes it, he will say, "Oh, Senator Natasha, we can't take this motion because the board of the Senate does not accommodate it." Or he will speak on others and then let it drag so that just before my motion is taken, the time will be well spent and won't. So he kept on doing that. I went to him in his office. And I said, "Senate President, you know how important this Ajakuta Steel Company to me is. You know how important it is to my people and to Nigerians. I've noticed that you have stepped down this motion. As a matter of fact, a number of senators told me, go and see him and plead with him so that he would take it." I was like, "Sir, please, why can't you take this motion?"
I'm sure most of you have seen that video by now, and we want to have a conversation around that. And the story has developed so fast, so quickly. One of the things that happened was that Natasha, of course, sued the Senate president after the incident in the Senate and appeared on Arise TV. Then the wife of the Senate president came on. I think it was a statement to the press where she was saying that the husband was a disciplined man and all those things are false. Yesterday, she filed a lawsuit for 250 billion, claiming defamation of character and disruption of their family life. So let's go into that conversation from any angle. Anybody, this is a bigger issue. It wasn't really about the sitting arrangement in the Senate. Like I told some people last week, it was something more than that. And it has come out. We want to know, where will it end? How will this one be resolved? KJ, you're first.
Thank you so much, Dr. Damages. Today, not today.
This one might be on the same side.
Oh well, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Akpabio, how many times I call you? You they take artists, you won't finish yourself. Anyway, the truth is this. Senator Akpabio seemed to be having problem with beautiful women. I said this last week. There was one Madam Joy who gave him a dirty slap. Some now Christian the slap of 2024. I'm sorry, 2014. The truth is this: when you are dealing with women, especially in a high-ranking position like that, there are certain words you cannot speak. His wife has come out to say he's a very jovial man, and his life cannot be changed because he's now a Senate president. So he jokes. Sometimes his joke goes overboard, and so it's probably one of those jokes, as I'm assuming now, that he played with her. Or she has also said that Akpabio, Senator Gospel Akpabio, the great man from Akwa Ibom State, is also a good friend and have been friends with the husband of Senator Natasha. Now, I want to argue from that point. Since you are family friends with the husband of this senator, I want to wonder why you need to step down her what do you call it, bill for the 5th time. Although having your bill read out is not a privilege. It's at the call of the Senate president. But why then do you have to do it for 5 times? And this is verifiable because it must have been on the other paper, which is the paper they're going to present for how the things will proceed, how the debate will proceed for that day. So we can easily verify she's telling the truth or lies. Now, for any man who is here, you know how those things come. You know how those things are subtly said to you. And you know, I can say this more because I don't want to call the man because it will be damaging to the church. But I want to say this. I used to have a girlfriend who, the man of God will say, when he wants to give her communion, say, you know what I told you that time, why you have not showed up. So we had to change church because of that. Okay? So we know how these things are said. They're said subtly. And you who is not very deep may think it's just a normal joke. But a person who is, like Natasha, will not see it that way. Natasha is a fighter. She fought Yahya Bello to a standstill. I don't think she is on the wrong path here. What I should think now is this: how are we going to get out of this? Because what if it's in a normal where things are done properly according to the law, he will have stepped aside to say, okay, you investigate and find out. But now there's not going to be any such thing, and the powers that be are going to make sure that Senator Natasha suffers some losses. Question I want to ask, and I'm going to end this because I know it's going to be a long debate, so let me keep my cards to my heart. Now, question I want to ask is this: of what use is the wife filing? Because I see that as trying to stopgap what is about to play out. So you are taking a defensive position already, going ahead to attack it as the subject instead of us dealing with the facts that are on ground. On what basis are you suing her? And if that again, put into consideration the Senate President or assistant, special assistant, who made a very derogatory statement on paper against this particular senator. The question is, who is going to bail the cat? Because this is a continuous issue in Nigeria. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, KJ. Man of Prestige, you are next. Akpabio versus Natasha.
Man of Prestige, can I go before you? Because I want to go to work. Can I go before you? Will you allow me?
Go ahead, Jim.
Thank you very much. So, root of mine is just very straightforward. For those who follow football, the British football, EPL, I suspect there is a Wayne Bridge versus John Terry situation in this matter. So you go and find out from those who know the story. For me personally, I don't know what to make of it. It's possible Akpabio made those advancements. But what I feel distracted about is that Nigerian people are the people receiving the short end of the whole stick. Because while all of this is happening, passing relevant laws for Nigerians is suffering. Focusing on things that concern Nigerians is suffering.
I wanted to say, what did they pass in the last 6 months that?
Well, I don't know. So, but I will end by this because I don't want to take too much time. I'm heading out already. I will end by saying I don't get involved in soft porn. My body is allergic to soft porn. So this is soft porn at a national level, which is very, very painful. We're discussing soft porn. This is those who read Evening Times when I was growing up, you know that guy with a flat head in behind us. This is very nauseating. Honestly, very, very, very nauseating. So I don't know. I just think, and I don't think Natasha is going to get a fair hearing. They will find a political solution. Her husband is a former governor of Delta State, a very good friend of Akpabio. So they will go and resolve it.
No, I don't think that man is that's
Google did that. That's what Google told me.
No, he was not there. No, he was not.
Okay.
Don't trust Google.
Okay. All right. Anyway, but I think this is soft porn brought to elevated to national level. I don't know why somebody will be coming and giving us all the details of their escapades and all those things. So I don't know. But Nigerians are the ones who are receiving the short end of the stick. It doesn't mean Akpabio should go scot-free. I'm not supporting Akpabio. Akpabio is wrong. And I want to believe the lady to almost give her 90% benefit of doubt that she knows what she's saying. But you and I know the society we come from. She's not going to get justice. If the Supreme Court can rule like they ruled yesterday, is it Natasha that's going to get justice? So we're going to see a political solution to this, and it will end there. That's all I want to say.
All right. Thank you, Chim.
And thank you, Man of Prestige.
Man of Prestige, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to call, I hope people understand. I'm going to call Akpabio the way I say it, okay? Because we are better speaking to the United States. I'm going to call Akpabio Apuna. I think the Igbo people know what Apuna. That means Ashawo, a harlot. That's what he is. He's a shameless Apuna. Because he has an antecedent to this. Why did I call him a harlot or Ashawo, whatever word he made it, but in Igbo, we call it Apuna. Because there's a lady that gave him a slap. I think a Niger Delta, some in Port Harcourt, that gave him a slap because he made the same approach. So people are not going to come here and say this is one, just a one-time something or whatever. I completely believe Natasha because of the way she was narrating the whole story. I mean, it baffled me that she can go ahead and make up the story like that. I mean, he was going from what happened to the end of what happened, So people are just saying, why didn't you tell your husband? I mean, she should have, but in some ways I understand because the husband is a friend of Akpabio, he's trying to keep that relationship. In Nigeria, it's about who you know. And Akpabio being the third in command, he's trying to keep that relationship, going, whatever the husband is benefiting. And let me ask you something, Dr. Damage. Was the husband ever ever served a politician? I don't know about him. Okay. But they have a relationship. So he's trying to keep that relationship, going. Because I've been wondering what is going on. I thought there's something going on beneath just what Akpabio is saying about Natasha, right from the nightclub, and everything and what just transpired recently. There has to be something. So it came from this, maybe because Natasha is not giving in. This is the problem we have. It's going even beyond the harassment of Natasha. Out of 109 people in the Senate, you only have 4 women. This is a country with a population of 2.something million. And people say women are more than men. Okay, let's assume it's 50-50. Because we don't have the correct census to, beat that. Let's assume it's 50. You only have 4 women. Women don't have a right. I mean, it's just such a country that women doesn't even have a right to speak. And you had the other lady that came the other day, one of the senators, instead of coming here, to ask what actually happened. If you read her narrative, it seems like she was defending Akpabio, that they shouldn't be talking about what happened. This is sexual harassment. In the same country, there should have been a private investigator to handle it because they can't say the House committee to handle it. because there's going to be partiality in that right because it's predominant by APC. They're going to support their person. So it's supposed to be a private investigator, a private investigator to handle this issue like they do in America, to ascertain exactly what actually happened. This is the person third in command in Nigeria. It's a high-ranking person. So it's not something people should be taking lightly. Investigation need to commence are actually good, get to the bottom to ascertain what actually happened. That's why I say hopefully, we can come to that. But in Nigeria, I don't see that happening. But I believe, I believe her. That's my own opinion.
All right. Thank you, man of prestige. Janaba, you're next.
Okay, thank you. I'm just wondering why is the wife suing? It reminds me of a man that was accused of sleeping with another man's wife. And the man now swear that if he's the one that slept with that woman, may his wife never get pregnant all her life. So this is like the same thing to me. Did she think she will win the case? Why can't Akpabio himself sue her? And in as much as we know there would not be justice, but I'm just wondering the strategy behind, and she could have stayed away from it and keep her integrity. We all know what happened in Nigerian political arena is such harassment and all of that. But end of the day, I was just surprised. She said her husband has so much respect for uh, Akpabio. So if anybody in Nigeria that have respect and Natasha husband have respect for Akpabio, uh, to me that's a disappointment. For Akpabio is a joker, and this is the kind of people that hanging together. So good luck in their pursuits of their case. But to my brother Chin, Nigeria is not losing anything. We never passed anything before, so I don't know that. Nigeria is suffering for it. So thank you.
All right, Janaba, thank you. Mr. James, next. Mr. James, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. When I watched the video, a lot of things ran through my mind. When the problem started, I knew, without being told, that it has something to do with sexual immorality in the country. I knew straight away, but I had no proof, so I could not mention it anywhere. But there are certain things that seem to be bothering me. When they went to Akpabio's house, the husband was behind them, answering a phone call, and they were walking in front of him. The man held the woman's hand in the presence of her husband. It connotes much. The husband, Mr. Dwaga, could be a morally bankrupt fellow who really don't care, being close to the corridors of power, if it's true that he's not a politician. Because it shows that traditionally, in Benin City where I grew up, it is a taboo for a married woman to lock hands with another man, more so in the presence of her husband. No, a married Benin woman cannot do that. While I was there, I don't know what is happening now. Now, for the man to tolerate that, it speaks volumes. It means he too could be a morally bankrupt fellow. That's one thing. Therefore, I watched the full video. The man seemed to be interfering with the affairs of state while he's not a state actor. Because there was a meeting they said they had in London or something like that in the video. The man seemed to be interfering with what the woman is doing at Senate. What my wife is doing at her place of work is none of my business. She can discuss issues with me, seek my opinion, and that's that. It is not up to me to go and interfere with what is happening at her place of work. So anyway, the country is muddled up. That's just how I see it. And another thing again is that A corrupt society or an immoral society cannot reform itself. Nigeria cannot reform herself. There's no way, because the country is already immoral. The country is corrupt. To a very large extent, Nigeria is homogeneously corrupt, both at family level, state level, local government. From the state house to the market level, corruption has cut across the entire country. So Nigeria cannot reform itself by any means. This is how I see the whole show. And in conclusion, this man called Mr. Akpabio should be compared to what the Americans call administrative leave. It should vacate the office while the investigation is going on. If the investigation will be free and fair, if I cannot be free and fair while he is still occupying that position? So the deputy Senate president should be the acting president while this investigation is going on. But the crux of the matter is, who is to conduct the investigation? Is it Mr. Tinubu's government? Or, I really don't know. And one thing, there are a lot of things involved in this matter. And left to me, they are all birds of a feather. They know how they share favors and do things among themselves, and nothing will come out of this, a problem. Just as I told Mr. Okoro on the other channel, platform some time ago, if anything comes out of this matter, please, Mr. Rudolph, put me before a firing squad without trial.
No, we won't do that. We won't do that.
Nothing will come out of it. Take it or leave it. Thank you.
All right, James, thank you so much. Okija, you're next.
I'm going to enter into trouble today, but I don't really care. My name is Okija. I'm going to take another view. But first of all, I want to say this. I think Akpabio, from what I've what I've seen of him, out there, he's a despicable human being. I don't like him at all, and one of the most hated politicians in Nigeria. He fits the image of a glutton. But I on this issue with Natasha, I'm gonna start by saying this. I think we have 4 women in the Senate, and we hear 2 of them, Natasha and Ireti. Even though Natasha, probably she has her own issue, her cases is different. But I think this issue started because she wanted to show off. She wanted to be like, I am senator. I'm the most beautiful girl in the Senate. That's the issue. The Senate, they have a rule. Okay, the sitting arrangement. Let me say by some, because usually when things happen to people usually, some people say, "Why me? Why me?" Who be you? Why can't it happen to you? The Senate has sitting arrangement. Okay, somebody must be on number 1 seat. Somebody number 2. Somebody number 1. I think they have 109. They have 109. It's sitting arrangement. Okay, you were changed to sit there. You go and sit there. Other people were changed. You were not the probably the senator from my state. Was taken to the backmost, but nobody complained. No man complained. But she had to complain over something that is insignificant. For her reason, she wanted to wear camera. I be this na camera show. I been at this now waiting in be. Now, baby, is it about seeing you? What matters is your work, not if the camera sees you. You go and do your job. Not to complain about camera, and then that's ended. That's escalated into all these things. If she had followed the rule, go and sit down as a senator, do your job. Don't be making noise about anything, something. Nigerians are dying. Things are happening, and you're talking about camera. Come on, this is disgusting. And I don't see people in the media. Nobody talks about it. Nobody tells her to go and shut up and sit there and do her job, just like other senators. So maybe she were putting out on 107. Somebody was putting out 109. Just go there, sit down, and do your job. That's all. That's what I want to say about that one. But for her issue for sexual harassment, I don't know. I'm not, like I said, Senator, anything, go on. But for the fact that, you number, you know this man, the kind of person he is, and that, your husband friend, and then something happened. You didn't tell your husband. Your husband asked you, and you lied, told another story. What kind of human being are you? And then, so if this was like a court case, if this thing happened between you, the witness is the husband. Now you told the husband that this thing didn't happen, that you didn't hear what you thought he heard. Then you go to court and you present this man as your a witness in court that say, did she tell you what happened? The man will say that she didn't tell me. She said this didn't happen. So she has issues. I don't know what her issues are. I mean, I like Natasha, but for in this case, I don't believe this is a story. Something is wrong with that story. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, hold on before you go. Okay. So you had issue with so many things you said, but I didn't want to stop you. But are you saying that because she didn't a sitting arrangement? Okay, you started with your sitting arrangement. You had issue with the sitting arrangement, and why? You see the issue. Don't you see that based on what is coming out now, that it was beyond just sitting arrangement? That she felt there was a reason why she was targeted for the series of movements, say move away from this, move to this place, that is because of something else that was going on. And without that outburst, we wouldn't have known these things.
Just like Ireti has said in the interview, I don't know if you listen to Ireti. People, they've been moving people, they move people. That's what is done in the Senate. Okay, but it doesn't matter where you are sitting. Once you are sitting in the chamber, you can do your contribution from everywhere. Even if they put you, just like this popular saying, grow, grow where they put you or whatever. Grow wherever you are. Grow. Do your job. You don't need to be, the camera to see you to do your job. I just don't understand, why they force about it. Just like you said, she has been moved like she said she has been moved like about 3 or 4 times herself. So Natasha knew that this was happening in the Senate, that people constantly, moved. So why would she, just make a case out of it? Why not, like, Reti told her, Reti, was saying, maybe why not, come to, like, go to, private section with the man and ask, why? Even if I don't know, and some people have started comparing her to Rosa Parks. That one pisses me off. Rosa Parks and Natasha sitting in the Senate. Come on.
Okay,
that's disgusting. That's a disgusting line for people to throw.
Yeah. Okay. So what about the idea that she had been pushing for bills that were of concern to her, but the Senate president would not let that come up? What do you make of that part?
What do I make of it? Okay, they have a rule. Like I've listened. Okay, so when she made an argument on on her rise, okay, that anywhere she was, she order 9 or whatever, that she's supposed to be heard. I believe that. Then I listened to another argument from another person that said order 6 precede order 9. For order 6, you have to go and sit where you are located, and they speak from there. She wasn't late. It was not like an emergency. She was dying, and she fell down, and she had to raise order 9. That's not the case. She was well. She was, walking. Have her faculties and everything. So go to your follow order 6, then bring order 9. And then somebody in the comment section saying that women ought to be seen and heard, not heard. Okay, no, just saying it. No, this is not the issue. Ireti is being heard all the time. Other people have been here. They say this woman from Anambra State, I've forgotten her name. She's from representing Oka in the House. She hears. I follow her whatever online. She says things that we don't have to see her making noise in the house, in the chamber, for us to know what is being done. We hear her from the work she does. So anywhere you are, if you want to go to the media house, go to media house and speak. But on that issue, you were assigned a seat. Go to your seat and do your job.
All right. Okay, Akija, this is not an interview of Akija, but there were other questions that came up. One of them was also that Akpabio had the same problem when Saraki was this Senate president, and it was an issue of the seating arrangement. So it's not something that is not of concern to senators, and sometimes they raise their voices and they protested against any attempt to move them the way they were. So it's something that is very common. So it's not something that you dismiss easily. That
yeah, but because okay, out of what is the Senate president?
Saraki?
No, the Senate. Akpabio? Okay, Akpabio, because he did it in the past. Is that why we should say that what you did, or Natasha should repeat what
no, did? You're dismissing it as if it's not something that they are concerned about.
No, I'm dismissing in the sense that they give you a seat, go and sit down and do your job, just like I would have said to Akpabio, then go sit down and do your job.
All right, thank you. Kando, you're next.
Yes, Doctor. I believe it was the very first week that the court appointed Mr. Tinubu as president of Nigeria. The very first week we were on here, and I said, if these people are serious people, instead of him talking about bringing 50,000 people into the army and feeding them corn and agbado, that what they should do is to look at the bread baskets of Nigeria and look at where they can bring 10 million unemployed people or underemployed people, 20 million, and start farming. Because what we need is production of food. It's okay if we cannot manufacture plane or car engine. I said in 9 months from that time, 9 months, those foods will be in abundance, and that will help to reduce the cost of food in Nigeria. That was about 2 years ago, however long that was ago. The cost of food in Nigeria is just out of this world. I know it's the cost of food in America is out of this world too, because 2 weeks ago, I bought a 60 pack of eggs at Walmart for $22.99. I bought the same thing yesterday for $28.99. So I know about food inflation all over the world. And this is where we are. I don't know. You see, I don't listen to the Nigerian Senate. I don't know who this woman is. Whoever, it doesn't matter to me. Last week, they said there was a video showing Professor Akinwumi or something. And I said, I don't know who the man is. Because I'm not a respecter of your position, what you have done before, how intelligent you and everybody thinks you are. It's about what are we doing today. I know it's Saturday and it's okay to have fun, but I don't have time for people like this. Whoever Akpabio is sleeping with, trying to sleep with, some people think, oh, she's a beautiful woman, whatever. There are so many single women in Nigeria that you can go and be with. You don't need to be going after somebody else's wife. There are untold number of beautiful, more beautiful than whatever this woman beauty that anybody thinks she is in Nigeria, I assure you. Go on, if you want to be a married man sleeping around, go and find those. Especially the wife of somebody that you know that is so close to you. I mean, after you sleep with her, then what? Where is he going to go? So I don't understand this type of thinking and men that do this type of things, especially if you're married. If you're not married, though, it's a free world. But for a married man, and I understand what you're talking about, Dr. Damages, about how people feel. When people are in position, some people feel, hey, I'm in this position, I should be treated this type of way. And I understand Mr. Okije's position that just because somebody else did something wrong, doesn't mean we should continue to do the same thing wrong. It's like people saying, it should be this person too. I don't care what happened when that person did it. The question is, what are we doing now? So personally, I don't follow people's marital or bedroom, who is sleeping with who. There's a lot of work to be done. Nigerians are suffering. We need to increase food production. So those are the things that concern me. I don't really care. Oh, and I want to say this. Some years ago,
All right, I think Kando, his connection is frozen.
Nepa don't take light from inside.
Yeah, so let's go to Paul. Have you weighed in on it? No, I don't think. Go ahead, Paul.
No, I've not. So, Doctor, you can see the way Akpabio is talking and everything. When you see previous comment that he makes about this lady, it's just kind of funny. Say people who come through court, failing to understand that you, Akpabio, also come through court. You didn't even go through primaries. You come through court. Because you come first, it's okay. It's like the way white people quick to tell African Americans when they nag here, they say, how about you go back to Africa? And the African Americans will remind them, how about you go back to Europe? Are you from here too? You understand? You come through court. Natasha come through court. But because you come through court 6 months ago, which means your own court case, we will forget it. That is the height of stupidity. You understand? If not the kind of system that we do with connection. How many, barely 4 years that you didn't really use very well, that you stay in the house, you just come back with leave and every other thing. You rested for 4 years and you come back with no knowledge. They make you Senate president. Then you start acting anyhow. Doctor, with all this budget that they budget, all these billions, how come that hollow chamber, all the seats don't even wired with mic? First of all, why? Then in this age and time,
I think there's mic. The only problem is the camera cannot capture everybody.
No, doctor. They say some seat does not have mic. You understand? Some seat does not have mic. That's why they say, oh, go this corner. Some seat does not have mic. That is also funny. Then another thing again, look at the little kids who school here in America, even in Nigeria, they all have their little tablets and the likes. You understand? In this age and time, if you run the National Assembly very, very well, how come you didn't shoot this person an email? There's a latest update. This will be your new seat. Why will the person come in, walk into our own seat? Then somebody just walk up because of the person will say, hello, ma. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, ma. Hello, ma. They said, nah, this is not your seat. That is the height of stupidity. You understand? Doctor, since we'll be flying, even though in Nigeria, anywhere, no cabin crew will just walk up to you and say, oh, suddenly we'll change your seat. If they change a seat arrangement, I work in the aviation industry. They change your seat arrangement, probably maybe because of the aircraft may be grounded. So they bring another type of aircraft and they're still going to shoot you an email. They're still going to update you via online. You're going to see it. And even if you don't see it, they'll remind you, oh, if you want to check your mail, ma, if you want to check your mail, sir, you see it there. You understand? Not until you walk to your seat, then somebody tell you, oh, this is not your new seat. Just tell her, say the truth. You understand? That can mess anybody up. You understand? You see people act irrationally because of you didn't update them, you didn't make them prepared for it. You understand? Let's tell her, say the truth. So when you put the woman in that spot and everything, what do you expect from her? What do you expect then? They say, oh, this is our rule. Where is the rule? Why didn't they publish their handbook? You understand? I say this is our rule on so article, so, and so. And everything. You know, doctor, you know this funny thing where every one of us should just stand up. This is my culture and tradition. Maybe the thing that my father used to intimidate my mother don't become my whole community culture and tradition. You understand? And meanwhile, my mother also have his own. It's just kind of funny and everything. You know, so we can't be doing things like that. Let me tell you one funny thing. I like to talk stories. There is this thing, I forgot the name. Where I come from, this funny thing called Luda that they used to make pepper soup. In my place where I come from my father's side, they don't eat it. You understand? And as Urobo in general, if you make pepper soup, why you not go put Luda? It gives us a type of nice flavor. One day, my father was on leave reading his newspaper, only for him to see my mother using that thing. My father screamed and run away. I asked my mother why. My mother just run and follow him to the bedroom. My father said, why use that? You know we forbid this thing. It was so funny. And my dad reminded my mom, for 34 years that you married me, any pepper soup where you drink, that in the inside. And my father was scared. My father didn't drink that pepper soup because the one that he knows. You understand? But guess what? It didn't end there. And my father tell my mother, like culture demand, go and throw away the pot, throw away everything. My mother said, until you give me money to go buy another one, I'm not going to throw away. So will anybody say my mother is a rebellious woman? Go throw away pots and you don't bring money to buy a new one because of your culture. It's not my mother's culture. You understand? So that's exactly what she displayed there. You understand? Somebody just walk up, somebody walk over and say, hello, ma, please, they change your seat. Why not send her an email? She have her own office. You understand? Even if I don't want to do email, why not even do a paper thing and walk up to our own office? After all, before people go to the allo chamber, they first of all go to their office and see any updates. They have their own ad hoc staffs in their own small office. They read their updates. They see the kind of thing that people must have bring information, things that they want to go sell themselves in the allo chamber. You understand? Oh, there's an update, man. They've updated your seat, they've changed your seat, She won't even know. Then if you go through that way, it's different. Not just confront person in one cabin crew, flight hostel, just walk up to you and say, sir, this is not your seat. Let us tell ourselves the truth. You're going to act some way, and then for that thing, you don't beat a child and ask the child not to cry. That is the height of stupidity. Thank you.
Sorry, Professor. How many people were changed that day? Who complained? Who complained? Who complained? Please stop talking this.
So the person who complained, is it a crime? I am asking you, the person who complained, is it a crime?
The chamber, you know that it's backward.
My brother, you can remind me to drink water, but you cannot remind me to go and pee. You know, until I started peeing on my body.
Many people were changed, and they came and they sat in their seat, and some people were telling her.
I am asking you, in this 21st century, somebody who have our own office, our own small office in this 21st century, you updated the allo chamber. You cannot send an email to our own office. You cannot send a paper copy to our own office in this 21st century, and you felt it's okay. Is that a good administration? Is that a good administration? Let us tell ourselves the truth. When we take pride in this America that we are today, is it not because they try to put things in place? My kid's school bus is coming late. They're going to send me an email even when I will not even pick the call, or they're going to send me a text message. You understand? My son is wrong. My son go to school late and I'm work. They will send me that your son come late. I will fight my son. My son ditched the school, or my daughter ditched the school. They're going to send me a voice message. Is that not what we see? Is that not the thing that we take pride? If not, we will not know. Some of us leave house before our kids. Because it is we that will go to court if our kids didn't go to school.
When people do wrong, condemn them. Don't make it easy for them.
Condemn the administration because they didn't do proper administrative work. They didn't manage the allo chamber very well. Don't condemn the woman who don't condemn the woman who you just change his seat by what they call accidental discharge. Don't be doing all this tapabalogo thing.
All right, thank you, Paul. Thank you, Okija. Let's hear Iken at San Antonio.
Thank you, Dr. Damages. I really wanted to talk about this particular incident because even we that live in civilized world, when we see the trend of what is happening, all of us, we are like, something is wrong somewhere. When she called her that this is not a nightclub, you don't use that word commonly to talk to somebody. I guarantee you, if Nigeria is a place where things work out and they put you under oath to dispute everything that girl said, I guarantee you, Akpabio cannot stay in that. If they give him a lie dictator, he ain't gonna succeed. Because he have history in Port Harcourt. He have history already. The girl is cute. For people that say that she's cute, there are some people that can tell that she's not cute because she's light skinned. But some people like darker skin. So beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. But the key thing, Mr. Okija and Okija, I don't know if you have a daughter. I have 2 daughters. I teach them to stand firm when things are right. You said that she didn't tell her husband. No woman will tell her husband because the woman understands the relationship between that man.
Speak for women in your life. Speak for women in your life.
Oga, allow me now. Oga, allow me. Because when you were talking, nobody jumped in to rebuttal what you were saying.
Don't generalize, wrongly. Okay.
The key thing is this. When you say something about don't tell the husband, you didn't tell the husband, she won't come out and tell the husband right away. You know, and when they go to court, that is where they always go to say, oh, you didn't tell anybody. You didn't tell anybody. You didn't tell anybody. I'm not a woman, but I have women that have been molested, that have been raped, and they told, I can't tell anybody because I was told this. She knows. I was talking to a house member, Nigerian house member. Say, why other people are getting 500 million for projects? Where is your 500 million? He told me that they can hold your own 500 million until you get out of the office. So there's abuse in different places. In that place where they are doing that, Senate, the Senate president and his people are joke. They're telling me that they're not seeing what is happening. Then sit is the problem of Nigeria. Don't use that sitting arrangement as an excuse of saying, oh, he didn't do it. I guarantee you there is something that happened between those two people, because he withheld her proposals. Things have been happening before she have to outburst and say, hey, this is what is happening, so that Nigerian people will listen to her. And at the same time, why Akpabio is hiding? Why can't he call news and tell, why is his wife gonna be the one come out and defend and do lawsuit? Because guess what? Women always quick because of the money that is coming in. She said that she owned a school. She said that she owned all this, and the woman is talking about them. That is the reason why she's suing. No, Akpabio go to court and sue, but Nigerian court is a joke. Because if Nigerian court is not a joke, some of these people cannot be on that seat that they are. 250 million people in Nigeria. That is, we don't even know how many people are in Nigeria. And you have only 4 women in the Senate. I understand that women are disenfranchised. I understand that it's difficult to raise money to run elections in Nigeria, but only 4 women. Then the other one want to save face so that maybe Akpabio will like her and come and talk against the girl. No, talk about yourself, leave the girl alone. If she's lying, when they get to court, let them prove that she's lying. Let Senator Akpabio prove that he's lying. So let's not come over. I have 2 girls, and no man will do that to my girl and not get away with it. That's me, because I raised them to be firm. That girl is outspoken because you don't know what that girl have gone through. Because a lot of people see her as a cute woman. She have gone through a lot, and that is the reason why she's firm, because she have grown, become stronger in what she do. He's fighting for. He fight Yaya Bello. He came to Senate and fighting too. You know what that girl have gone through. So let's not even judge the case. Unfortunately, somebody made it predicted right. Nothing will come out of this. Nothing will come out of this. And they might even suspend her in the Senate at the end of the day. Because already the Senate have voted Akpabio vote of confidence that he is in support. And he hammered the gavel and hammered it and said, everybody say yeah, everybody say no. So that it's on record. He picked that part.
All right.
Dr. Jacqueline damages because one legislature.
Thank you. Thank you, Ikenna San Antonio. Let me point out that I said there was a lawsuit filed by the wife of the Senate president. This morning, the lawyer for Natasha responded, and one of the things in the response was that Natasha has evidence to prove her case, and that they would like to meet Akpabio, the Senate president, in court, that the wife should take herself out of this, that she doesn't have any idea what's going on. And then in the news, there are stories of an audio that is floating around. Nobody has published it, but some people in the media establishment are saying that there is an audio explaining certain things that happened. So we keep watching. This is a developing story. All right, Mazi Prince, you're next.
God damages, good morning. Oh, well, we're still in the morning, and we're about to get to noon. Good morning, Ikenna San Antonio.
let me stand on already existing protocols. First, let me start this way. Okija, I cannot disagree with you, but this is why we're on panel. It's called panel, so we are not supposed to align in everything. Though you and I always align in several topics. Why am I saying so? Now we are actually what Okija ended up doing is shaming the victim. And I'm surprised at that. We are all in the Western world. I don't know where every one of us works at. Where I work at, every year we undergo a course known as sexual harassment. You cannot make certain statements where you have a female colleague. You cannot look lustfully at your colleague in a professional world. And at the same time, when there are certain ways we behave in Nigeria that we think it's okay. It's not okay. Because one, the person you're telling that, let's take for instance, the name that they gave her, that they're calling her Senate Princess. First and foremost, this woman must have been going through trauma. And nobody cares to understand that this woman is going through trauma. When the first video came out on that the chair thing, the first thing I said, I don't know if it was this platform or another platform that I said it. And I said, there is something coming up. And for the woman to act the way she acted, let's take for example, we all drive to hospital, right? And, probably we're sick, we still drive to hospital. But there is a time when we cannot drive to the hospital. What do we go with? We go with ambulance. And how much is ambulance? Way costly. If not insurance, sometimes it's something about 10 miles can take about 15,000. But insurance brings it down. Why am I saying this? When this woman stood up and said she is calling for Rule 10, Rule 10 is known as SOS, save our soul, save my soul. Can I say something? She is not trying to, propose a bill or propose or whatever it is, but she just wants to make a statement. And what does it take from the Senate president? Just recognize that. And in that their SOS, there is no place that says that you must be on a certain seat. So why are we blaming her? It's surprising that we walk here and we see the way the people here behaves. But when it comes to Nigeria, we change it. Whatever that man said to that woman, even if it means that he was jokingly telling her, oh, we'll come and spend some time, it's not right. You don't say that to a married woman. And then another time that they asked her to go and see him in the office, that she went and he said, if you do what I asked you to do, if you make me happy, and then whatever it is, that he will do whatever. Should this be coming out from a person who is supposed to be a leader in the Senate? And not only that, he had the Senate leader calling her at night and threatening her that whatever happens to Akpabio, That means heads will roll. Wow, interesting. Akpabio's wife saying that they be friends with Natasha's husband. Natasha's husband used to be a governor. As a matter of
No,
fact, he used to be.
not the same person, please. It's not the same.
Oh, it's not okay. Whatever it is, but then you heard that Akpabio was even offering him to bring someone, to bring a contractor, to recommend somebody or to bring somebody. You see how they come up with all shenanigans. To me, what is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. And that is where I stand. As Akpabio needs to step down, let this be investigated, or they can constitute an independent kind of like it will not be senators or whatever it is, an independent committee or whatever it is to investigate this. The white and talked about, oh, nobody has ever complained. I'm forgetting that the Niger Delta Commission woman just complained. It looks like she's dazed, or she thinks that we're I don't understand. Let me rest my case here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, doctor, please. I want to clarify something because I think they are misusing misapplying what I said. The issue I talked about in her case was sitting down where she was supposed to sit down. Okay, she was supposed to sit down. That's my argument. Then the issue that happened in Akpabio's house. What I said, I don't believe that story. But any other harassment, the other issue, I don't know. I don't trust Akpabio to believe it. This issue I explained, that's the one I know. That's the one I have an opinion on. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Okija. Let's go to Forefathers. You're next. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Dr. Damages. Greetings to you and greetings to everyone on the panel. Greetings to the chat and the viewers. I did watch the interview of Senator Natasha, and the areas that I found very disturbing is one area you can have, serious accusations against the Senate president and vice versa. They can have their arguments about that because so far there's no concrete evidence of either position. Until we get evidence, we can't necessarily pronounce judgment on that. But what I found disturbing that she mentioned that 5 times she tried to move forward a motion regarding the Ajaokuta steel plant, that they blocked it. Akpabio was blocking it. For me, that is even a graver accusation because these are things that change nations. The reason why the Nigerian currency is appreciating right now is because of Dangote refinery, because those things are important for the nation. And you see these leaders, they sit there and do stupid things when they should be focusing on what is good for the people. They are losing sight of what is good for the people. And there was another incident, another narration she made about money that goes into an account, and then that if they don't spend it, they start sharing it amongst themselves. And she wasn't for that. She wasn't like, this is obscene. Why should we be sharing money amongst ourselves? We should reserve the money for the taxpayers and stuff like that. And when she left office, the money is gone. Our people, what we are doing to ourselves, I don't know where we are going to start from, because you can argue whether she did what she did, whether Akpabio did what he did. I think it's more likely that he did. She doesn't have any reason to accuse him. She hasn't accused anyone else of similar accusation before. She's somebody that has risen up with a lot of opposition. She found it difficult to get into office. With all the bellow shenanigans that occurred, she still overcame all that to get into the Senate. I don't think she got into the Senate to go and accuse the Senate president of sexual harassment. So, on balance of circumstances and the general behavior, Nigerians call it antecedents, which I don't like to use, of the different characters, one can say she's more likely to be speaking the truth. That said, I've actually heard some other person say something similar about Akpabio before now. I don't remember whether it's a woman or a man. Akpabio was demanding on this thing, on loyalty at all costs. No matter what, you have to obey what they ask you to do. And it's similar to the kind of behavior you see that he's portraying towards her. This is somebody that, you know, threw a birthday party in the stadium and has a chapel in his house. You can see that his priorities are all wrong. His priorities are all wrong. And if there is any reason why he should step down, it's for some of the stupid things that we've seen happen in that Senate, where they are sharing money, spending money, buying foreign cars. And when they try to do something that is good for the country, you do your best to block it because you don't like the individual. For what reason? 5 times you blocked her from chasing the Ajakuta state. There's only one. Why is it only her that is doing it? Why are the other men not doing it? So for me, apart from the accusations, which we are, when we get evidence, and if the evidence is shown that he did it, he should step down, period. There's no two ways about it. He has to step down. But what she has already revealed, apart the other areas she has already revealed, is disturbing. Nigerians should really ask themselves, why is it that senators start sharing money when they have not spent it? Then they have an incentive not to spend the money. They have an incentive not to work for you so that they go and share the money. It's a problem. Then you have a situation whereby somebody is trying to find out the corruption practices going on with the Ajakuta state that has been paralyzed for decades. And you are frustrating her from doing that. It took 5 times before the reading got through. Dangote tried to go into that, this is still. They frustrated him, he ran out of it. Our people are there causing problems, and people are not picking up on these things that she's trying to reveal. It's not only about sexual harassment. These people are doing things that are actually damaging our nation, and I think that is where he seriously has to be held accountable. And it's funny because according to what she said they called her and told her that if there's going to be a protest, Akpabio is so hated in the country that he's going to be the most targeted person. It's funny, you see how vulnerable they feel. When I tell people that these people are not as powerful as we like to think, they are very vulnerable. The Nigerian people have not stood their ground and make a concrete demand from them. This is why they get away with murder. They are always scared. And because of the call he made to her the night before the incident occurred in the Senate floor, that is why she was paranoid. She came in that day paranoid, and then she demanded an explanation, and she was right to demand explanation. She said she invoked her SOS, she called it SOS privileges. They were supposed to obey that. He overrode it and still threw her out anyway. So for doing that alone, if there are penalties for it, then he has to face that too, because he broke the rules of the Senate itself. That is how I look at it, period. And we are still to hear get evidence in terms of the sexual harassment, which a lot of people are preoccupied with. I'm looking at some serious, the way the Senate is functioning and the problems that I see there that has been creating many of the problems we are seeing in Nigeria today. And I think Nigerians should focus on that area, maybe a little bit more than this accusation to and fro. As important as it is, if it's found that he is guilty, he will have to step down, period. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Before we go to Ike, who I think is the final person that will speak on this, and we'll round up, I want to mention that Andrew Cuomo, for those who care, of New York, former governor, is running for mayor. He just announced that he's going to run for mayor of New York City. So that's a breaking story, which is of interest to those in New York. Also, Zelensky.
Wait a minute. How does he think that he's going to win with all those scandals surrounding him?
All right. You're not in New York.
But Madam Prestige, he will beat Adams. He will beat that Adams right now. Yeah.
You're not in New York.
It looks like.
Oh, we have a special guest here. I didn't know. All right. And then also to say that Zelensky met with Ukrainian people in America, and he received a standing ovation, which, going back to the first topic we discussed, the people from Ukraine actually liked the performance he displayed at the White House. Ike, you are next, and then I will welcome our special guest, which I didn't know is here.
Yes, okay.
Ike, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. To be here again this Saturday. Dr. Last week when we talked about the issue of the Senate, I think this is the problem of Bekus in Nigeria, right? Because they don't have anything they are doing in the National Assembly. Do they have any work? If they really in the National Assembly, we'll be talking about, Bekus and the rest of them. It's just what it is. It's a failed nation, and it is top. Akpabio himself, we all know who Akpabio is. The genesis of his story is known by all Nigerians, right? The woman, I'm happy she spoke out. Anybody who is saying why did she speak out? If others did, it's a right to speak out, and we know that that lady has really gone through political troubles. Remember the days of Yaya Bello. Maybe it's the same problem. Yaya Bello was also looking for something else. He went as far as cutting the road leading to the woman, right? And at the end of the day, she fought it off and eventually won and got the Senate. And your Senate president, who never see man without, can never close his eyes in women. And this woman got her fancy, and he never stopped ever since she came into the Senate. He's always wanting. So the issue of, I don't think that she spoke out because it was the sitting arrangement. I think a lot of things have been going under the ground that we don't. And now that it has come in the public view, I think it will be good for us. Fabio is the third most powerful man in Nigeria. He should be able to hear the air before Nigerians, because that position is holding. It's a very sensitive issue in the administration of government. So it's not something we should just wave aside as we used to wave aside so many things in Nigeria. Now that it's in the public view, defend himself, tell us what is the truth, and from what Senator Abbott is saying, she's prepared. It didn't start today. I don't think it started today. Even with when they went to visit Akpabio in his house when he was celebrating his birthday, it started. It has been going on for a long time, right? Between him and this, And somebody just said something here. Paul said that there are some cities that don't have microphone. This is Nigeria, almost the most richest black country, the black country in the world. Some of the cities they have no microphone, and you are the Senate president, right? So that these people are just there for themselves. They don't have any job. All they do is that the executive bring bill, and they take backhands and they sign it, they walk away, right? So I think that Akpabio himself, did he win an election? How he became senator? We know how he became he went into the Senate. And the only difference between Akpabio and the senator lady, sorry, I forgot.
Natasha.
The difference between Akpabio and Natasha is because Akpabio, the Senate, they were all elected by their people. They represent their people. So he doesn't have more power than Natasha. But for the fact that they're giving a position in the National Assembly, it shouldn't be a reason why another senator should be treated like he's nobody. Remember, if you are following, when he tried to do it with Senator Nwoye, you saw it happen in the National Assembly. On the day he tried to do the same thing to Senator Nwoye, he stood his ground and made him to understand that you were elected the same way I elected. And I am representing my people the way you are representing your people. And you cannot my opinion. So it's just Akpabio, right? It was surfaced when the time Saraki was the Senate president. He had the same problem of sitting. He protested. So why should the one of Natasha become a very big problem? So I think that right now, that as it is, we Nigerians who want to fight, you are in the mass, you are in the media, in the print world. So I don't want to I don't want to run into any conclusion. Watch, or if you people have information, we should need to follow it. And I think that sexual harassment, the life of a lot of women, try to respect women who decide to take a position in public life, because it's not easy anywhere. I am speaking also from a, because my wife works in the government, and I know what the position she occupies, and I know what goes through. So it don't say it doesn't exist, or it don't just like it's nothing. No, it's a very big problem anywhere, everywhere in the world. You know, sexual harassment in the places of work is a very big problem. So I that Nigerians, and I am interested, I want to follow it to the conclusion. We want to know what transpired if Akpabio did what he did. But what are you going to do him? He has committed, he didn't go to prison. Is it this one? It's Nigeria for you. I don't dismiss what Natasha is saying. I strongly stand with, I need her to prove her case. And if she proves her case, I think this is the beginning of a lot of women go through all this because nobody, they will tell you don't say nothing. The way it is. Right? So I think I'm with the woman.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ike, and we appreciate you. We have a special guest here. I didn't get any alerts that he was coming, but
okay, God bless you.
Welcome to the show.
You are muted.
Nami, I think I'm getting old for this game, so I don't even.
You're not alone.
I don't even remember how to unmute myself. Sorry.
Welcome.
Yeah, I think. Sorry, doctor. Good evening, and good evening, gentlemen. No lady today. What's happening? Forefathers, Okija, KG, and Ike, everyone, Benson, and yourself. I think I thought you were about rounding up and you want to start another show. So
yeah, there's another stream that we start. But since you're here, I can spare some time to talk.
No, you see, that's the thing with Nigerians. Stick to your time. Don't break the
No, it's not every day that we see you. And then you know what people don't understand. I value everybody, but especially people who are on the ground, people who have been. I have never been to the Senate floor. I don't know how it looks like. If I get someone who has been there, I value the opinion of that person. Maybe it's an insight the person might give us that we don't have. You know what I mean? Maybe you spoke to a senator. I don't know many senators.
No.
I'm just saying, I don't know what you bring in that we don't have. So that's interesting to me. That's how I see these things we do.
Yeah, you know, I think the issue with, the issue in the Senate now, looking at it critically, Nigerians are divided. Some are supporting Senator Natasha. Some are supporting Akpabio. Suddenly, the wife jumps in the fray. Now, for me, the wife jumping in the fray is just to model the whole thing up. And Nigeria, we like to, when we model things up and we head nowhere. And I can tell you for free now, as things stands today, this whole conversation is dead. No one will be punished. No investigation would be published. It's dead. It's exactly like when that lady from Port Harcourt accused him of sexual harassment, and President Muhammadu Buhari, the one who wasn't aware, ordered inquiry. I don't know if it was KPMG or whatever. They investigated NDDC and whatnot. Where is the report of that investigation? People were told to off the mic, and the mic remained off. Remain off up to today. It's not been on again. So I want to tell Nigerians, don't have heart attack for Nigeria. Don't just, especially those of you in diaspora, those of us in diaspora, all of us, don't bother your head. I think when I watch what's happening, I see that those in the diaspora sometimes have too much emotional attachment and involvement in there. And there is a tragedy that comes out of it. It impedes you from growing in your country of residence. Nigeria inhibits you actually. It drags you back. So unless like you want to be like people like us who sadly have found ourselves there now, that I can qualify with that famous video of that Dangote truck driver that talked about Sapele Road and said, this road for Sapele Road, I know if to go front, I know if to go back. People where I spoil the road, I don't come out. So we are where we are, we can't go front, we can't go back. But the bottom line is absolutely nothing. Write it down, and I'm willing to bet anyone. It's not going to get anywhere. You know, reason. These are family friends. I believe you have seen the videos with Akpabio's family and Natasha's family, right? The husband, the dragon, is someone who I believe a contractor who also needs some, things from Akpabio. And I mean, these are families. And if something happens and whatever, someone asked me yesterday, if true there was a sexual harassment, why did she not report to the husband the first time that happened? I said, well, I do not know many men that will drive out and the lady winks at you and you come back and say, Madam, now wow, I can't imagine that man said, where they work out, the woman they do me like this, you see, they eye me. That's not the norm. But let's not also lose sight of the fact that I do not doubt that Natasha, and I'm not saying this because Akpabio is involved, but I wish and I pray, and maybe collectively all of us can get to a point where if somebody talks about sexual harassment in Nigeria, I tell you, especially somebody who is in the public eyes, it takes a lot for a woman to come out to say there is a sexual harassment here, right? Now, and the thing with sexual harassment is not planned. You walk into a room to have a conversation with someone. If that person sexually harasses you, you do not have a camera ready to walk in. It's not like you're in a set to shoot and you say camera rolling action, then it starts. That doesn't happen. So you do not have, in most cases, virtually no evidence to support your claim. But what I think, having come public with whatever she's got, is if the Nigerian Senate will listen to Nigerians, even when the people of Akwa have mobilized the women to go to the street and say we are defending our son, typical Nigeria, that the Senate will not lose sight to say if this a case of sexual harassment should be looked into, right? And like Natasha said, let this be televised. I said, now, wow, we've been talking about revolution being televised. Maybe this is the first one that will be televised with our approval. So if they televise it, fine. We're going to feast our eye and feast our, hear a lot. It's going to be like the one that was televised where we hear off your mic, and the mic got off and nothing happened. But if it does happen, because this, I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not really bothered about this back and forth. Oh, you're supposed to sit here, you're not supposed to sit there, the mic is not working. That's their own normal, that's legislative paraboism. It's normal. It happens everywhere, right? Even in America. The one that happened even yesterday in America, where a president of a country comes in, a young man, a VP, kind of sets what I call theatrics. And the whole thing just gets out of hand. So it happens. But why sexual harassment is different and must and should be taken serious is we all have children. It could be that one day your daughter comes home and says, Dad, there was a case of sexual harassment today. The first thing we must do as a people and parents is first to believe that there is before you walk back to begin to investigate. Because the moment you start with these belief when a case of sexual harassment occurs, is that what you do is, whether right or wrong, eventually whatever the outcome will be, you're going to be hurting the person who have mustered that courage to say there is a sexual harassment case here. And in this case, forget that she is an adult, she is a senator, but she's, first of all, a woman, the weaker vessel, that it should not be allowed in any way, shape, or form, especially at the legislative chamber, for sexual harassment to occur. Therefore, I think that the Senate should take this serious. By the time we come back on Monday, maybe Senate might not sit on Monday. People will have loaded women from Akpabio, push them into the gate of the Senate, of the National Assembly, that nobody would come in. Obviously, we saw it during the campaign or during the court process, that the presidential election. Once you want to go to court, you see on the other side people imported from the Niger Delta to come and protest that this is the best thing ever happened. And we would not be surprised again. This is no longer going to come from River State and Bayelsa, but again from Niger Delta, that women in this case might be imported on Monday. I mean, don't quote me on that, but it's very likely to happen on Monday that we will see people protesting that Natasha is not right. And to Akpabio's wife, honestly, I have nothing to say there, because I do not believe that she has any locus on this case, because it's a case of somebody alleging something to someone. She was not in any way, shape, or form mentioned in that, unless if there was a case of any threesome, then maybe she then becomes involved. But if it's a case of this person harassed, you are not there, I was there, it's he says, she says, it's back and forth. On that note, my brother, I say thank you very much for all you do. And before I forget, I say happy birthday. Happy birthday, happy birthday. If my voice was to be something excellent, I would have sung a song for you, but I don't want to let your audience unsubscribe from your platform.
Like
Right.
Flavor, you could sing for me.
Oh, happy birthday.
Anyway, thank you so much, Maziz. Okay. Benson, I see you, but my producers are telling me that I've exhausted my time. We have to move to the next stream. Maybe when we get there, Benson, you'll be the first that will speak. Please bear with us, okay? I posted the link to the next stream. They are kicking me out from here. I want to thank everybody that joined us, all the panelists, everybody. I can't mention all the names, but Maziz, okay, thank you so much. Benson, thank you. KJ, thank you. Kija, thank you. Forefathers, thank you. Ike, thank you. And Basics just came in. Thank you all. We are going to, we actually show up at the next stream. KJ will host. I want to thank those that supported us today and those that wished me birthday, happy birthday. I thank Riaku Tope, Alexander Gomez. Let me see. Miwibo, I can't pronounce the name. Thank you so much. For AY, for real, thank you. CCO, thank you. I don't think I posted it. Cynthia, thank you so much. Oscar Blackstone, thank you. Blackbone, thank you so much. Man of Prestige, thank you. Real K, thank you so much. Let's see. Abi, thank you. Igbo Basics, thank you. And Kulata, thank you. If there's anybody I missed, I thank all of you. Alexander Gomez, thank you. And let's go to the next stream and continue the conversation. KJ, you will lead us in that stream. Again, I appreciate all of you. We will remember tomorrow on...
What is he talking about?
Tomorrow on 90 Minutes Africa, the plight of African women in the workplace. The case of Senator Natasha Akpoti and Senator Goswell Akpabio. So this conversation will continue tomorrow in a different version, where we're going to look at the bigger picture of what actually happens in the workspace, not just this particular incident, because it's bigger than this. All right. On that note, I really appreciate everybody. Let's move over to the next stream and continue the conversation. Thank you.
suggested to the Prime Minister that he cut the aid budget, and I'm pleased that he accepted my advice.
I'm going to have to let the Leader of the Opposition down gently. She didn't feature in my thinking at all. I was so busy over the weekend I didn't even see her proposal. I think she's appointed herself, I think, saviour of the Western civilization. It's a desperate search for relevance.